Hey truckers, today we're seeing part 16 of From Enemies to Lovers, a hidden marriage story. Let's dive into the video. When Ningxi heard this, she smiled and stood up to hurl her hand towards Chen Mian, her eyes clear. Director Chen, you're betting your 10-year directing career on this while I've only got the world, so I'm still profiting either way. In fact, to be honest, I've waited very long for such a script, so there's no need for me to consider further, Director Chen. I'm happy to embark on this collaboration. Chen Mian was stunned, then he stretched out his hand to shake hers. It's my pleasure. Because this dream that had never extinguished from the depths of his heart, he cared so much about the script, and would not allow there to be any flaws. His ambitions made him want to find an actress like the Oscar-winning Hilary Swank in Boys Don't Cry, to really be able to act to the extent where it was hard to differentiate between male and female. But to let all those small, internet female celebrities put on a male disguise? That shoot would end up as a horror movie. He would much rather let this script rot a lifetime in his drawer than touch it. However, just as he had thoroughly compromised with reality, and had taken loads of investors' money to shoot commercial films that did not move him, he met Ningxi and saw that his passion had yet to be extinguished. Chen Mian muttered to himself for a while, then he said with a serious expression, "Maybe I should treat Jiang Mai to a meal. If it was not for him being so hard to serve, I wouldn't have met you." Well, there really is no denying that. Ningxi laughed. "Looks like I should treat him too." "Do you usually dress like this?" Chen Mian asked, evaluating Ningxi again. Her body was clearly exquisite, yet no matter if it was her demeanor or posture, there was not a tinge of submissive femininity. "Not too often, I guess, only when I need to." When she was abroad back then, she would often be in a male disguise. She had done less of that upon returning. However, she was used to it, and the longing to do so lingered. "You're very natural, even making me think that you were originally like this." "Even acting skills are useless," Chen Mian probed as he examined her. "Initially, I was prepared to have the female lead prepare a month before, and within this month, she would live entirely in a male disguise so as to completely immerse herself into the role. It seems like you won't need it. I've observed that your speed of immersing into a role is pretty good." Ningxi actually wanted to say that she had not really used much acting because when she was in a male outfit, it came naturally to her. Most up-to-date novels are published on n0velgen.co/m. However, in this movie, she would have to act as two characters, not only the female lead, she also had to act as the female lead's twin brother too, so the pressure was pretty high. She did indeed need to prepare and study the characters. "I still have a few more days till I'm done with the show on my hand. Wait till it's finalized, and I will start to plan the shoot and choose the cast. You can use this period of time to prepare. If there's anything you don't know or need help with, look for me anytime. Have your phone on standby. When everything is in place, I will contact you to join the team." "Okay, I understand, thank you, Director Chen. One last thing, to avoid any disturbances, this time I plan to keep the entire shoot a secret and not do any promotions. Are you okay with this?" "No problem." When Chen Mian left, Ningxi was impatient to convey the news to Ling Zhizhi. Ling Zhizhi was very happy for her, and said that she would support her fully. She also said that she would discuss the concrete details with the other side soon. Ningxi's new film was finally, officially decided upon. At Royal Jazz Hotel, VIP room. In this year's competition-filled atmosphere, the world's historic film had achieved the third best result in this year's box office. Everyone from the drama team had gathered for a celebration banquet. Apart from the director, the producers, scriptwriters, camera crew and other acting members such as Ning Xuelua, Zhao Xizhou, Jiang Mai, Feng Yiba, and several main actors were all present. A few of the main characters' managers were present too. There were many people in the huge room, and it was bustling with excitement. When Ningxi reached the room and greeted everyone, she was immediately called by Jiang Mai to a corner. "Tell me honestly. Why did that Qin Mian call you over for?" Jiang Mai looked at her seriously like he was interrogating a criminal. Ningxi rolled her eyes. "Why are you so tensed up for? Could he tank me?" "Huh, please, who would dare tank you? If he did, I should now be able to see the tabloid headlines that famous director Qin Mian had died in his home." Ningxi was speechless. "Am I that scary? Don't talk about unnecessary things. I'm being serious. What did Qin Mian talk to you about?" Based on his understanding of Qin Mian's character, he naturally knew he was not the kind of director to be inappropriate, but the way he acted in the afternoon was just odd. "Oh, right, speaking about this, I have to thank you instead. My new film has been decided," Ningxi said as she poured Jiang Mai a drink. "Qin Mian's?" Jiang Mai's eyebrows raised. "Yes." "Which script?" "Dream Chaser." "Please." "Ning Xiaoxi, not bad. That guy actually gave you the script he has been safekeeping along?" Jiang Mai was obviously a little shocked. "I have seen that script too. I wanted to take it, but he said he couldn't find a suitable female lead and was not willing to shoot. This script has probably been searching for the right person for 3 years now." Jiang Mai recalled the script's plot and instantly understood why Qin Mian had taken an interest in Ningxi. This brat, what horribly amazing luck was she on? This script was practically made for her. "Who's the male lead?" Jiang Mai immediately asked. Ningxi shot him a look as if she had seen through him. "Don't think about it. Director Qin said that he would use an entire cast of newbies, so you don't stand a chance." Jiang Mai scoffed. "Looks like Qin Mian is really ready to make you a hit. This film is, after all, led by a female protagonist, so if you choose me as the male lead, my halo would very easily overpower the female lead, so that must be why he's using new actors." As Ningxi listened, she felt that what he was saying was quite reasonable. Apart from that, he probably wants to return to his true self, follow his heart, and ditch all the complicated things to start all over again. Didn't he use an entire cast of new actors for his famous debut? Can the current movie market compare to 10 years ago? That was the generation of talents. How many classics were made? Now look again, how many are left? The point is, the risk is huge. Jiang Mai muttered. Ningxi raised her brows defiantly. "I like challenging things." Jiang Mai knew she would say this, so he pat her on the shoulder and said, "Even though the risk is quite high, this could create a miracle. Whatever it is, I wish you good luck." "Thank you. I'll ride on your lucky words." Ningxi raised her glass and toasted with him. As everyone was chatting and drinking, the door opened, and in walked the producer Wang Taihe. A frenzy later, the director Guo Qixing quickly walked over and asked, "How's it? Did you manage to invite CEO Liu?" Wang Taihe replied, "I just called to confirm. Second Master said that he would come soon. As for Mr. Liu, he's probably not coming." Even though Guo Qixing was regretful about it, he still nodded and said, "To be able to invite the second master is already not bad. The other master is so busy, how could he come to our small little celebratory banquet?" $50 million in investment was considered huge to them, but it was nothing to Liu Tingxiao. He might have even long forgotten such a thing happened. "Who's Director Guo and producer Wang talking about?" From the corner of the room, someone asked with curiosity. "Who else could it be? It's obviously about our movie's investor. It is Ning International?" "What Ning International? I think you've drank too much. Because Ning Xuelua caused that trouble, Ning International and Starlight Entertainment had withdrawn their investments midway. At last, because of Lu Jingli from Glory World Entertainment threw 50 million here, then Lu Corporation threw in another 50 million. That's how our movie managed to continue shooting. Oh right, look at me. Now that the world is so popular, the investors have managed to profit quite a lot from their investment. Ning International and Starlight must be regretting? Read latest chapters at bin/o/m only. Of course, when they withdrew investments to exert power and threaten the crew, it turned out all good in the end. All their wasted efforts. As she listened to the discussions surrounding her, Ning Xuelua looked obviously miserable in the shadows. If it was not for Ningxi, the huge number of profits earned from this movie should belong to Starlight and Ning International, then her status in the company and at home would have been one level higher. Sadly, now, she had gotten nothing. When they were promoting, she had to be suppressed as the female lead, and they had to bring Ningxi the co-star, letting her harp on her popularity as she wished. Xuelua, actually we aren't losing either. Think about it, they have spent double the amount of money and aren't they still making you famous in the end? Chang Li could immediately see Ning Xuelua's unhappiness, so she quickly consoled her. Before this, Ning Xuelua would have listened to words like these, but now she found it annoying. Making me famous? They're obviously using my popularity to make Ningxi famous. From the start, the world had indeed paid the most attention to her as the female lead, yet as the movie continued to show in theaters, Ningxi had been gaining more and more attention. From the internet to the expert reviewers, they offered Ningxi great comments, and some even commented that Ningxi should be the real female lead in the movie. In fact, Ningxi was now in good relations with Glory World's higher management, Lu Jingli, and Jiang Mai. Her pathway to stardom was paving well. How could she just take all this in? Chang Li's expression stiffened as she thought about how Ning Xuelua's skills were not up to par with the other person. As the female lead, she could not even stop Ningxi from taking the limelight, but could she blame anyone else? Right, I'm almost done discussing with director Zhou about his literary film for you. The contract will be done next week. Chang Li changed the topic, and only then did Ning Xuelua's expression start to soften. After a round of drinks, the door was suddenly pushed open. Oh, how happening! The person who walked in was clad in a flamboyant tuxedo in pastel blue with a messy and unruly fringe and a pair of eyes that seemed to be electric. When he smiled, his entire being was radiant, and the moment he appeared, he attracted everyone's sight like a strong force of energy. Second Master is here. Quickly, come in and sit. The producer and director rushed forward to greet him. Oh! It's the CEO of Glory World, Lu Jingli. He's even more handsome in person than on the magazines. If Second Master entered the entertainment industry, other male celebrities would be nothing. I'm so jealous of Glory World's artistes. Do they always get to see him in person? Among the shrieks of the girls, Lu Jingli laughed and said a few words to everyone. He was funny and charismatic, getting along with everyone soon enough. All the girls were screaming from his sweet words. Oh my God! Second Master is so friendly. No ego at all. Most importantly, he is so handsome. Even compared to a celebrity like Jiang Mai. Li Jingli was Glory World's boss after all, so after he entered, he naturally sat in the spot between Jiang Mai and Ningxi. When everyone saw that, they thought it was only natural and had no opinions, only envy. In front of Lu Jingli, Ning Xuelua was slightly awkward. After she made some small talk with him for her public appearance's sake, she did not say anything further and could only be like everyone else, observing Ningxi with an envious gaze. Ningxi speechlessly looked at Lu Jingli, who had squeezed between her and Jiang Mai. She looked respectful on the surface to her boss, while she said in a lowered voice, "Second master, there are so many seats over there, can't you just sit over on Jiang Mai's side?" Lu Jingli immediately just crossed his legs and said, "No way, I just like sitting in the middle of you two." Ningxi had no words to say. This devil of a protective brother was in motion again. "Right, earlier I heard that producer Wang invited Lu Tingxiao too. Will he come over tonight?" Ningxi casually asked. Lu Jingli took a sip of his drink and looked towards the dim light, with light rays dancing. Menacingly, he said, beg me, then I will tell you." Ningxi's mouth twitched. "Do you think it's fun to tease me?" Then, Ningxi just took out her phone and sent Lu Tingxiao a message, "My dear, will you be coming over for the World's celebratory banquet tonight?" Lu Jingli's initial delighted handsome face instantly turned sour as he started to complain, "Hey! You're breaking the rules. I won't allow you to do that." Ningxi rolled her eyes. "Are the rules up to you? I just like to do it that way, what can you do?" Very quickly, Lu Tingxiao replied her, "We'll see, I have a dinner to attend." Ningxi thought about something, then smiled cunningly and replied, "Oh, okay, drink less. Also, you're not allowed to hook up with girls, don't even look at any of them for more than a second." "I won't, they're not as pretty as you," Lu Tingxiao replied. Ningxi instantly covered her face. While Ningxi was secretly texting, Jiang Mai and Lu Jingli were sneaking peeks. When they saw Lu Tingxiao's words, the two of them choked on their drinks almost simultaneously. New chapters will be fully updated at novl/bin.com. Jiang Mai coughed profusely and cursed, "Jesus." Lu Jingli chimed in, "Oh, my precious eyes." When Ningxi heard their reactions, she immediately became alert and kept her phone away. These two horrible brats had actually peeked at her messages. It was a good thing that she sat in the cornermost of the sofa, so there was no one on the other side, while Lu Jingli and Jiang Mai were on the other, hence she did not have to worry if anyone else saw. Midway, a waiter came over to open a few bottles of especially expensive wine. Wang Taihe was curious, he went up to say, "I don't think we ordered this wine." It was a Mr. Su who ordered for everyone. "The bill has been paid," the waiter politely answered. Oh. When they heard the name Su, everyone instantly knew who it was. As long as it was an important dinner with Ningxi Luo around, Su Yan would spare no effort to make her look good. It was no wonder that he was in the entertainment industry's list of top 10 best boyfriends. "Please. The price of these 3 bottles should add up to a few $100,000, right?" I finally understood that no matter how hard a woman works, it's not as good as having a good husband. Ningxi Luo's mood tonight had initially been at the pinnacle of misery, but when she heard all the crowd's praises and teases in reaction to the wine, she started to lighten up again. Su Yan was undoubtedly the best thing that happened to her in this lifetime. A while later, Su Yan, who was having a business social nearby, came over to greet everyone, then he was asked enthusiastically to stay. When Su Yan saw that Lu Jingli was present as well, he wanted to network with him, so he stayed and then walked over to chat with Lu Jingli. Lu Jingli smiled and handled him skillfully with a few sentences before making him leave. Then, he held his chin and walked past the two lovey-dovey Su Yan and Ningxi Luo and scoffed to Ningxi. "Initially, I wanted to ask if you would be triggered, but then I thought never mind, you already have someone much better." Indeed, Ningxi did not look the other side, she was texting Lu Tingxiao and teasing him. Lu Jingli shook his head and sighed, he could not bear to watch all the lovey-dovey scenes going on around him. He started to grumble, where's the fun in just singing and drinking? Let's all play a game." Since it was Lu Jingli who suggested, everyone naturally agreed and echoed his suggestion. Okay. But, what do we play? Yeah, it seems like there aren't any new and fun games. Lu Jingli smiled cunningly. It's not about it being new, as long as it's fun, so let's do truth or dare. Ningxi was speechless. Why was it truth or dare again? Could this guy come up with something different? The last time after she played it at his bungalow party, she was traumatized. However, as one of the classic games that was suitable for a party with many people, Lu Jingli's suggestion immediately received everyone's approval. As for the rules of the game, it was very easy. To pick the big ghost was to win, pick the small ghost was to lose. The small ghost could choose between truth or dare, but if they were unwilling to tell the truth or do the dare, then they failed and would be punished with 3 glasses of drinks. Very quickly, the game started. At first, everyone was still holding their courage in, but at last many different questions like at what age did you start kissing girls, how many adult moves do you have in your computer, and how long did you last, started to become frequent. Ningxi, truth or dare, the crew member who had gotten the big ghost card asked her with a malicious expression. Ningxi's luck was pretty good the first few times, and she had not picked the small ghost card, but after a while, she had unfortunately been hit. Ningxi then replied, dare. On such an occasion, the truth was more dangerous than dares. Then, please ask for a kiss from the gentleman who picked the ace of hearts. If you're rejected, then the dare is considered a fail. Everyone started to ooh. Hey, this is too easy. Would there be a man who would reject our Ning Beauty's request for a kiss? Exactly. Where's the ace of hearts? Who's the lucky man? Come out quickly. At last, a moment later, someone from the sofa cleared their throat and said, it's me. The person who said this was Su Yan. Oh. Why did it have to be Su Yan of all people? Everyone in the private room was instantly stunned, yet at the same time they were a little excited. Even though Su Yan's girlfriend, Ning Xuelua, was present, but to be faced with a beauty like Ningxi, and coupled with the fact that it was just a game, would Su Yan agree? Jiang Mai frowned, while Lu Jingli looked alert and panicked. Io! This has gone overboard. Truth or dare had been suggested by him. If his brother found out, then he would definitely be dead. Hello, Su Yan, do you agree or not? Now many people had drank quite a fair bit and were all cheering him on. Ha ha ha, you guys, Su Yan's real girlfriend is still here. How could he agree? That's not necessary. It's just a game anyway, and Xuelua is so easygoing, so she wouldn't mind, right, Xuelua? Under everyone's pressure, Ning Xuelua looked at Ningxi, who was in a corner, then at the troubled Su Yan beside her before she said nonchalantly, it's just a game, of course I won't mind. Su Yan, you decide yourself. Oh. I told you so. Su Yan, you're so lucky. You have such a considerate girlfriend. Su Yan looked at Ningxi in the corner. Moments later, he revealed an apologetic expression and said, I'm sorry. Ningxi shrugged, then downed the 3 glasses of drinks on the table. Lu Jingli could not even stop her in time. Damn it, this is over. Everyone instantly roared and shrieked, damn it. We've been publicly shamed again. I knew Su Yan wouldn't agree. His heart was already full, so other women are just floating clouds. There was also some smaller actors who envied Ningxi and they started to whisper happily, she's just pretty, did she really think that all men would fall at her feet? Now, she's faced rejection. How funny! For a vase like Ningxi, only those vulgar men who don't care about what's inside would like her, right? How could a noble person like Su Yan like someone of her type? Even if Ning Xuelua wasn't around, I think he wouldn't say yes either. To be associated with such a small artiste that relies on her face for fame would just be degrading himself. You updates tnvel/by.com. On the side, Ning Xuelua looked at Su Yan, clearly touched. I thought you, bro Yan, you didn't actually have to do that. I know it's just a game, I wouldn't mind. From the corner of his eye, Su Yan looked at Ningxi, who held her head in her hands. Even though he looked sorry, he was still firm. Even though I've always treated Ningxi as a sister and wanted to care for her, I would definitely not do such a thing. Even if you understand, I wouldn't want you to misunderstand. Bro Yan. Up next, Ning Xuelua was picked. Ning Xuelua chose a dare, then she was asked to kiss any man present who was willing. At last, there was no question, Ning Xuelua obviously chose Su Yan. The attractive couple's passionate kissing led to the crowds teasing someone again. Ningxi was only asked to kiss someone in the game, yet after the ruckus, she felt like she wanted to press up to Su Yan. Just as she was thinking about this, it happened. It was right at that moment that Ningxi got chosen again. The person who had gotten the big ghost card was a drunk cast member who slurred, Ningxi, truth or dare? After downing 3 glasses earlier, Ningxi started to feel tipsy because she drank too quickly. She wanted to say truth, but before these words could come out, she actually twisted it. Dare. When she wanted to change her words, it was too late. The cast member immediately smiled and said, I've drank too much, I really can't think of anything for you to do. How about you do the same thing as earlier? But, to avoid awkwardness, let's not choose anyone in this room. Just ask for a kiss from the first person who walks into this room later. Oh right, let me add on, it can't be the same gender. It must be of the opposite gender, the cast member added. When the crowd heard this, they became even more excited. Then, what if it's an ugly and vulgar man? Ha ha ha, she wouldn't be that unlucky, would she? Ningxi did not know how to deal with this. To choose someone from the room would be awkward, but to choose a stranger who walked in later would not. However, she had no choice. The rules of the game were as such, so she could only continue. At that moment, even though the crowd in the room continued to play, their hearts were obviously still wondering who the next person to walk in would be. The hotel was the liveliest at this hour, and every room frequently had people who walked into the wrong place, some of them even drunkards. In fact, a few had just done that earlier. However, it was not sure why this time no one had walked in for a long time, not even the waiters. If no one walks in after 10 minutes, is this considered over? At last, someone suggested. How can that do? If no one walks in after 10 minutes, then we'll just choose someone from the room. This is a good idea. The girl who picked the big ghost earlier nodded in agreement. Of course, if we choose from this room, then we have to choose someone of the opposite gender. As they watched the 10 minutes about to pass, they anticipated having to pick someone in the room. Ningxi's gaze started to skim across everyone. It was easy to choose just anyone, but if it had to be someone of the opposite gender, it would be better to wait for someone to walk in than have her choose. After all, if she chose herself, that would be too. Director, producer? These identities were too sensitive, definitely not. Lu Jingli, Jiang Mai, they were even more untouchable. Su Yan was out of the question. As for the other male actors and crew members, Ningxi looked around and at last, she could not even pick any one of them. Her head hurt. When they noticed Ningxi's gaze looking around to choose, most of the men present started to become restless. Ha ha ha, I wonder who would have the honor to be chosen by our beauty tonight. I'm betting Jiang Mai. I've long noticed that these two people have something going on. Why not Lu Jingli? This is a good opportunity to court the boss. Could it be Su Yan? Su-Yen rejected her earlier, maybe she's unwilling and would ask again? Discover EU chapters at novelby.co. Don't forget our male lead, Zhao Sizhou. As the whispers and discussions in the room increased, almost everyone had been guessed by everyone, and Ningxi's head was about to explode. The girl who picked Ningxi earlier looked at her phone and said, Ningxi, 10 minutes is about to be up, but still no one has come. How about you just choose someone from the room? In the corner, Jiangmai mumbled, how about I just sacrifice myself for a while? Actually, he was just casually saying this because he knew that Ningxi did not want to start any rumors with him. However, would she be taken advantage of if she chose someone else? She might as well choose him. Lu Jingli shot Jiangmai a look, then looked at the time on his watch. What's the rush? There's still a minute. At that moment, Lu Jingli looked calm while he was actually about to have a nervous breakdown. Damn it, it was over, he was dead. God bless him. If he let Xiao Shishi kiss someone else, he would definitely had to die here today. He was going to die tragically. Time's not up yet? I am counting. The girl looked at her hand phone. Oh, now it's really about to be up. There's still 10 seconds, 9 seconds, 8 seconds. Ningxi held her hurting head. I. All west ch.rs on n.o/vli/n/. cm. I surrender. Damn it, could she not just surrender and drink up? However, before Ningxi could declare surrender, the heavy metal door to the room was suddenly pushed in from the outside. In that instant, everyone's gaze fell on the gold door, their eyes full of gossip potential. Whoa! Someone finally walked in. A guest who had walked the wrong way. Or a drunkard. A waiter? Or other crew members who were late. First, they saw the long fingers that pushed open the door, then their line of sight followed upwards to his low-key but luxurious obsidian cufflink, then his gray patterned tie, and at last, they finally caught a clear glimpse of his face. Those sharp features, defined eyebrows, broad nose bridge, and tight lips all formed a face that had clearly been favored by God when he carved it delicately. Under the dim light and musty air, the man was akin to wind from a winter land, his eyes sharp and clear while his temperament cool. He stood there quietly as he skimmed the crowd. Only his nonchalant look could make people revere him as they dared not look him in the eye. Only those in a higher-up position would have such a palpable force. When she saw who had walked in, Ningxi blinked, then blinked again, as she thought she was starting to have delusions. Big boss? In that instant, everyone in the room was stunned. Who was this man? Gui Qixing and Wang Taihe knew him all right, but they had not expected him to come, so they were stunned in shock. Bro. Lu Jingli, who had been silently praying, almost cried tears of joy when he saw the man at the door. Amazing! The timing is perfect. Thank goodness, he was saved. Jiang Mai was surprised. Something flashed in his eyes, but his expression did relax quite a bit. This way, Ningxi would not be in trouble. When all those who were immersed in the man's aura heard Lu Jingli called him bro, they were suddenly shocked to their senses. What? Bro? What did Lu Jingli just call that man? This man was Lu Jingli's brother? Then, would that not be the CEO of Lu Corporation, Lu Tingxiao? The director had prepared to invite him over, but did they not fail? Bro, you're here. Come in quickly. Lu Jingli ran over to him at the speed of light and brought him over. The director and producer reacted too, and they quickly ran over to greet him in fear and trepidation. Mr. Lu, you're so busy, we really didn't think that you could come tonight. We're too honored. Quick, come in. Whoa. It really was Lu Tingxiao. But this was no wonder. Apart from Lu Tingxiao, who else would have such a charisma? The first person who walked in was unexpectedly Lu Tingxiao. Instantly, everyone looked at each other and their expressions could not help but look sympathetic. This Ningxi was just too unlucky. First, it was Su Yan, second was worse, it was Lu Tingxiao. At last, they did not need her to ask before they knew that she would definitely be rejected on the spot. Maybe she would be regarded as intentionally trying to get close to him with this incident, possibly inciting negative feelings. Everyone knew that Lu Tingxiao disliked seductive women, especially those who came up to him with ulterior intentions. He would not care even if it was a beauty. However, it was such a great chance to get closer to Lu Tingxiao. No one would give it up even though they knew they would probably get rejected. Ning Xuelua had her expectations up. Ningxi was going to embarrass herself tonight. Ningxi, quickly go, someone excitedly reminded Ningxi. Explore new ovals on nvelby.com. Then, Ningxi was pushed forward to Lu Tingxiao. As he heard what they were saying and he realized the air in the room was a little odd, he looked at Ningxi and asked, "What's wrong?" It was obvious that Ningxi had drank, her cheeks were red and she did not look fully conscious as well, so Lu Tingxiao was on alert. Director Gui Qixin coughed. "It's nothing, we're just playing a game." "A game?" Lu Jingli touched his nose, then he pointed at Ningxi and explained, "We're playing truth or dare and she was picked to ask for a kiss from the next guy who entered, or she'd be punished if she failed. Bro, you're the first person who came in." Lu Tingxiao's expression changed. No wonder Lu Jingli urgently needed him to come within 10 minutes. What if he did not make it? Then, Ningxi would have. Lu Jingli freaked out a little as he felt the icy cold aura from his brother. Ningxi looked up and stared at the devil's handsome face. Ah, she really wanted to kiss him. No way. Ningxi restrained herself with her leftover rationality as she remembered the game and that they were strangers here right now. The public did not know about their relationship. Under normal circumstances, she would have been rejected. Ningxi let out a cough and acted as if she did not know Lu Tingxiao. She gave him a signal to act as if they did not know each other. She respectfully greeted Lu Tingxiao, "Well, Mr. Lu, it's just a game, you don't have to mind too much about it, I can just drink as the punishment." Ning Xuelua was a little disappointed, realizing that she was smart enough to anticipate that she would be rejected right away. Su Yan's tightened fist relaxed as he heard Ningxi's reply. Ningxi bent over and took a glass filled with wine. As she was about to drink it, her hands lost control. Lu Tingxiao was pressing her hand and he took away the glass, putting it back on the table. Then, he wrapped his arms around her waist, and amidst her confusion, he closed in and kissed her. Suddenly, the room went into complete silence, but someone's glass dropped to the floor and made a shattering sound. Ningxi was extremely confused. What just happened? What was the devil doing? Did she not signal him? Did he not get the message? Everyone regained their senses soon. Wow! What just happened? Lu Tingxiao kissed Ningxi. Ningxi actually succeeded in getting a kiss? That was not exactly right. Ningxi did not even ask. She gave up trying, but Lu Tingxiao still kissed her. Ning Xuelua almost broke her glass, then she heard the sound of glasses breaking and beside her, Su Yan's wine glass fell onto the floor. Sorry, I need to go to the washroom. Su Yan quickly went out. Ning Xuelua looked unhappy as she noticed Su Yan's reaction. What did he mean by this? Why was he so worked up to see another man kiss Ningxi? She thought she already had total control over Su Yan, that he only had guilt towards Ningxi, but at that moment, a sense of urgency floated up in her mind. What troubled her the most was that Lu Tingxiao actually kissed Ningxi. How was this possible? Lu Tingxiao sat down on the sofa casually and ignored everyone's gaze as if he did not just do something outrageous. Realizing Ningxi was still staring at him in horror, Lu Tingxiao asked, "Anything else?" Ningxi covered her mouth and shook her head. She stood up straight, turned around, and then sat back down on the sofa. Jiang Mai held his fists in balls and avoided everyone's eyes. The damaged Lu Jingli covered his chest and pushed Lu Tingxiao over. "Bro, give me some more space." Explore new ovals on nvelbai.com. There was still some space between Lu Tingxiao and Ningxi. After Lu Jingli pushed, Lu Tingxiao now sat right next to Ningxi. Ha, ha ha, Mr. Lu is pretty considerate. Ningxi made it. Everyone started talking again and the atmosphere became more relaxed. At the same time, there were people whispering around as well. What was Lu Tingxiao trying to do? What could he be trying? He's just trying to play nice, he's a man after all. Isn't it normal? It's normal for men, but this is Lu Tingxiao we're talking about. What happened was too shocking. What's wrong with Lu Tingxiao? He's a man as well. With a beauty like Ningxi, there aren't many men that can restrain themselves. Take a guess, if Ningxi Elua was not around just now, would Su Yan have let this chance slip away? Well, it's pretty hard to say. Everyone had thoughts of their own, but Ningxi just sat there obediently. As she was being all quiet and shy, she suddenly felt a warm hand on her thigh. Ningxi's back straightened, then she glared at Lu Tingxiao and stopped his hand with hers. "What are you doing?" Lu Tingxiao held his chin with one hand and sat there with his usual cool attitude, but under the table, he was holding her hand and not letting go. Ningxi tried to take her hand back but failed, so she just let him do what he wanted, her heart racing quickly. What was this? It felt like a secret lovers' meeting. After Lu Tingxiao entered, everyone became more reserved, it suddenly became quiet, like an office meeting. Yet, the culprit Lu Tingxiao did not realize it at all. He just sat there on his own accord, while holding his girlfriend's hand, admiring her angry face and relaxing. "Hey, don't let it stop, we should continue." After the crisis was solved, Lu Jingli quickly continued the game. As long as his brother was here, nothing bad would happen to Xia Shishi, so now he could go all out. Following Lu Jingli's lead, everyone relaxed. As they continued, Su Yan came back and sat down beside Ningxi Elua, but he occasionally looked over at Ningxi's direction. The girl seemed to be afraid of Lu Tingxiao. She sat there quietly and cautiously, her cheeks red from the wine she drank just now, but it also seemed like she was shy from the kiss. Seeing this image of Ningxi broke Su Yan's heart. Ever since Ningxi had returned, she had changed. He had forgotten when was the last time he saw Ningxi show this obedient side of her. Back then, when Ningxi was still a little girl, she would blush every time she saw him, not even daring to look him in the eye when talking to him. But 5 years later, he now saw the Ningxi that he used to know, but her gaze was not for him, it was for another man. Could she be with Lu Tingxiao? Ha ha ha, Senior Jiang, it's your turn again. Truth or dare? Jiang Mai was not in a good mood right now, so he just splurted out, "Dare." "I like your attitude, Senior Jiang." "All right, then. Please strip off your top and do 10 sets of push-ups on the ace of clubs." Oh! Everyone was excited. Push-ups, ha ha ha. A few people threw over some suggestive looks. All West ch.rs on n.o/vli/n/.cm. Oh, the ace of clubs. Who's the ace of clubs? How lucky. Could it be a guy? Ha ha ha. Ningxi's expression darkened. Damn it, she had drawn the ace of clubs. What now? Ning Shi stared at the devil. Realizing the girl's stare, he looked over and saw Ning Shi's ace of clubs. Who's having the ace of clubs? Everyone was urging, but just as Ning Shi was about to raise her hand, her card disappeared. In the next moment, her card changed into 8 of diamonds. Someone laughed. No wonder the ace of clubs isn't talking. It is you, second master. Lu Jingli stared at his brother with bitterness. How could you? Well, he was the one who suggested to play this game anyway. Lu Jingli looked at Jiang Mai with determination. Come at me. Everyone laughed. Jiang Mai sat just beside Lu Jingli. He had already seen that he was not holding the ace of clubs, but it was his card now. It was obvious that who had the card earlier. Jiang Mai forfeited his dare and drank 3 glasses of alcohol. The crowd was disappointed. There was nothing to look forward to now. Some time later, Ning Shi was picked again. Truth or dare? Ning Shi hesitated. Truth. That person was expecting Ning Shi to call for truth, so after taking a peek at Lu Tingxiao, the person said, So, when Mr. Lu kissed you earlier, how did you feel? Ning Shi was speechless. She had no idea that picking truth was much more dangerous than picking dare. After the question was asked, all the girls in the room were excited. They were all very interested in Ning Shi's answer. When Lu Tingxiao kissed Ning Shi, they were all jealous. Especially the girl who had come up with the dare rule, she deeply regretted that she created such a perfect chance for another woman. Everyone's eyes stayed on Ning Shi. Lu Tingxiao had a glass of wine in his hand, and although he was not looking at anyone, he was focused on Ning Shi as well. After a long silence, Ning Shi tried her best to reply, To be honest, it was too sudden, I did not really feel anything. What was that? You have to tell the truth. That's right. Did you really not feel anything? It's not that I didn't feel anything. But it was too sudden. I'm telling the truth. Ning Shi explained herself. The crowd let her off this round. She thought that she had avoided the worst this time, then she felt an itchy feeling on her hand. Lu Tingxiao was scratching her palm with his finger. Ning Shi glared at him again. What is it this time? Lu Tingxiao stayed silent and just looked at her in the eyes. Then, it was Ning Xuelua who was picked next. Xuelua, truth or dare? Chang Li asked. Dare, Ning Xuelua replied. Because it was Chang Li as the person behind the dare, she knew that Chang Li would not make her do anything too embarrassing. I want you to sing a song with the Kings of Spade. This was a pretty normal dare, nothing noticeable, but the Kings of Spade was Lu Tingxiao. Lu Jingli was prepared for his brother's swapping trick again, but Chang Li saw his card and announced, Oh, the Kings of Spade is Mr. Lu. Everyone had a sense of admiration in their eyes. How great if we get to listen to Mr. Lu sing. It was just singing a song, plus they were just playing a game, so Su Yan should not have any problems with it. This could be the best chance for her to get closer to Lu Tingxiao. Ning Xuelua smiled and stood up as she looked at Lu Tingxiao. Mr. Lu, you can pick the song. Ning Xuelua was relieved that she was pretty good at singing. Everyone thought that Lu Tingxiao would agree since he had even kissed Ning Shi just now, so there was no reason to decline singing. Chang Li handed over the mic to him. Lu Tingxiao did not even raise his hand. He just mumbled a few words, I don't know how to. Chang Li's smile froze, and the prepared Ning Xuelua stood there awkwardly as well. How was it possible to not know how to sing? Could it be that he did not want to lower his status by singing with a celebrity like Ning Xuelua? In that instance, that thought occurred to almost everyone. Ning Xuelua did not expect for Lu Tingxiao to kiss Ning Shi, a new and nameless actress, and declined singing a song with her. Vis sit en velben, cm for eu ovals. Changli felt like she had done something right for once at first, but Lu Tingxiao's reply made her take a few steps back. Well, then, I'll take the punishment. Ning Xuelua went to get her glasses. She still had a small ray of hope that Lu Tingxiao would change his mind, but he just sat there quietly without any change in expression. Xuelua can't handle alcohol well, I'll help her. Su Yan stood up and took the glass from Ning Xuelua, drinking all 3 glasses for her. The atmosphere softened a little and Ning Xuelua felt less awkward as well. After all, with Lu Tingxiao's identity, it was normal for him to decline. Lu Tingxiao silently stared at Su Yan coldly. Lu Jingli understood Lu Tingxiao well and he could tell what he wanted to do in one glance. He had a plan. Obviously, his brother was jealous of Su Yan's past relationship with Ning Shi, and he wanted to avenge her. After a few rounds, Lu Jingli was it, so he looked at his brother. Bro, truth or dare? Lu Tingxiao stared at him. Dare. Lu Jingli's eyes shone. How cooperative. Could he know about his plan already? Everyone looked at them interestingly. Lu Jingli was a playful person. Who knew what plans he had for his brother? But would he be daring enough to fool Lu Tingxiao? Lu Jingli smilingly looked at Lu Tingxiao. Bro, my request is simple, you'll be singing a song with someone. You can pick anyone you want. Everyone felt that his request was weird. Lu Tingxiao already said that he did not know how to sing and was unwilling to sing, yet Lu Jingli now wanted him to sing with someone else. Was he deliberately trying to make him lose? But it was not the end. Lu Jingli continued, and I'll be choosing the song. Heh, I want you and another person to sing Swirl. Everyone went silent. Chiang Mai was annoyed. Swirl, huh? He felt that his second uncle had lost all his principles. Ning Shi dared not to look at them. Actually, this song was just a little ambiguous. It was nothing much to her, but if it was with Lu Tingxiao. No way. No. No more thinking about it. She almost could not stand just imagining Lu Tingxiao sing this song. Everyone remembered the lyrics of Swirl, realizing Second Master was being very playful. He was trying to make Lu Tingxiao sing something so suggestive with someone. Most importantly, it would be really weird to sing with another guy, so he would only pick a girl, wouldn't he? Lu Tingxiao refused to sing a normal song with Ning Xuelua just now, so logically, he would not agree this time. Everyone did not take them seriously. Speaking of which, the 2 brothers really seemed to have such a good relationship, to the point that Lu Jingli would pull this on his brother. Lu Jingli quickly selected the song Swirl, and urged Lu Tingxiao, quick! Drink it if you don't want to sing. 3 of it, no lesser. The intro to the song had already started. Lu Tingxiao stood up and went towards the table. It seemed like he was ready to take the alcohol. However, Lu Tingxiao avoided the glasses and picked up the microphones. Wow! What was Lu Tingxiao trying to do? Everyone was surprised as Lu Tingxiao gently put the other mic into Ning Shi's hands. Up.dfrm no/v/e/lb I n.co/m. Ning Shi was confused. What just happened? What did he mean by this? Had the devil gone crazy? He was really going to sing? And he picked her? The crowd almost went crazy as well. Ning Shi! What did Lu Tingxiao mean by this? He was going to sing, and he chose Ning Shi to sing with him? Everyone's jaws dropped, Then Lu Tingxiao casually leaned back on the sofa, raised his mic and started singing, "Following your designs, those curves, I spun round and round, everything in the world spun around me. Be with me, I'll stay for you." A cello-like voice spread through the whole room. Wow! Is this Mr. Lu's voice? My ears are getting pregnant. This is way too good. Did they forgot to mute the artist's voice? Nope. It's really Mr. Lu. Oh my gosh, Mr. Lu's voice is so sexy. I'm passing out. Oh my god. Didn't he say he doesn't know how to sing? This is too good. I thought with his cold personality, he would be bad at singing. But I'm proven wrong now. The female part came in soon. Ningxi missed a few beats as she was confused. She then quickly followed up, crossing through logic, surpassing nature, hiding from God to be with you. Even if I'm just left with pieces, I'll still love you to the end of the world. If you shattered, I would not want to be whole again. Sink into my deepest part. The crowd was screaming as Ningxi sang. Ningxi looked calm but her cheeks were burning. What was this sink into my deepest part? The lyrics of this song were so shameless. Damn that Lu Jingli. If one did not think too much into it, the lyrics meant nothing much, but no one present here was pure at heart, not after so many drinks. Then came the duet. Lu Tingxiao and Ningxi sang together, "Come and hug me, let's form a swirl, our kiss will cause huge waves." Ningxi sang, "Drowning you with the whole world." Lu Tingxiao joined in, "I love you as much." The lyrics of this song were so suggestive. Ningxi was a little defensive against the song at first, but after some time, along with the effect of alcohol and Lu Tingxiao's gentle gaze, she became more relaxed and sang even better. No one in the room could deny that the aura of love they were emitting was powerful. What was more shocking was that their collaboration was amazing. While they did not interact with each other, not even make long eye contact, their singing and the feelings between them was as if they were a couple in love. Lu Tingxiao had such a cold aura, but now he looked like he had descended on earth from the heaven. Lu Tingxiao and Ningxi sang together, "Come and hug me, kiss me starting from my toe, our souls are slowly falling." Lu Tingxiao sang, "Love is consuming me." Ningxi continued, "Like a web over the sky." He added, "Without caring about the consequences." Ningxi sang along, "This disaster." Finally, they finished the song. The crowd was impressed. Visit N0VL/BEIN. For the best novel reading experience. Lu Jingli was the first one to cheer for them. "I've finally heard you sing." Even though he already knew that his brother's voice was that sexy when singing, he was thoroughly impressed by him once again. Jiang Mai was stunned. It was his first time hearing Lu Tingxiao sing, and he did not expect that Lu Tingxiao would really sing a romantic duet with Ningxi in front of everyone. The crowd started cheering and clapping as well. "Oh my god! Mr. Lu! Your singing was heavenly. How humble of you to say that you didn't know how. You're invincible. I should just retire myself." Ningxi sang really amazingly as well. So, she isn't just good at acting, her singing is superb too. Both of them collaborated so well. I'm feeling in love. I feel like Mr. Lu is showing some extra love to our Ningxi tonight. Ningxi Lua felt like those praises for Lu Tingxiao and Ningxi were like slaps on her face. Not only could Lu Tingxiao sing, he even sang so well. Yet, he rejected her, then sang a love song with Ningxi. He had just trampled her pride. Su Yan's expression was sour because his girlfriend had just been humiliated, but he could not do anything about it. Lu Tingxiao just did not want to sing with her, so what else could he do? But he was not focusing on Ningxi Lua, no. The image of Ningxi singing with Lu Tingxiao just now was imprinted in his mind. Weren't they just boss and employee? They seemed as if they were a couple in love. Chang Li comforted, "Don't be so sad, Xuelua. Glory World Entertainment is a company under Lu Corporation, and Ningxi is one of them, so Lu Tingxiao would, of course, be on her side in public." Ning Xuelua glared at her venomously. Had she not made such a request, Ning Xuelua would not have been humiliated. How useless! Ning Xuelua was already frustrated, but she had to maintain her usual expression. The moment she saw Su Yan staring blankly at Ningxi's direction, the fire of jealousy started burning in her heart, nearly exploding. Right in the center of Beijing, in Ning Xuelua's newly bought villa, Ning Xuelua held a glass of wine in her hands. Upon gulping the contents down, she threw the glass to Chang Li, angrily saying, "You go and tell Su Yimo about what happened tonight." Understood. Chang Li carefully took the glass, then she said cautiously, "Actually, it was just one outing. You don't have to be so riled up." Lu Tingxiao was probably giving his brother some respect. Ning Xuelua glared at her. Rubbish! Of course, I know that. Or are you trying to say that Lu Tingxiao actually likes Ningxi? Chang Li kept quiet. Get lost. I'm frustrated just by looking at you. Useless. Chang Li quickly fled. Ning Xuelua was too easily triggered tonight, and she did not want to get scolded again. She was scolded when she did nothing, scolded when she did something. For some reason, nothing good had been happening to her recently. Read latest chapters at n/velbi.co/m. After Chang Li left, Ning Xuelua finished all the wine left in the bottle, then she went into the bathroom and took a warm bath. She changed into a thin nightgown. She proceeded to lie down on the big soft bed in the bedroom and made a phone call. Hey, Xuelua. The gentle voice of a man came through. Bro Yan. You're not asleep yet? It's late already. Bro Yan, I'm not feeling well. Not well? What's wrong? I'm not good. What should I do? I feel like dying. Stop saying that. Where are you? Is there anyone with you? I'm at the villa. Stay there, I'll be right there. After the call ended, she threw her phone on the bed and took out a neat little glass container, then she poured some essential oil on her hands and rubbed it all over herself. Soon, an engine sound stopped outside the villa, then there were running footsteps. Xuelua. A soft, slender body hugged Su Yan the moment he opened the room to Xuelua's bedroom. Bro Yan. Ning Xuelua hugged him tightly with a terrified expression on her face as if her life depended on it. Bro Yan, do you not love me anymore? Su Yan frowned and he put her on the bed. Why did you drink so much? Is it true? Do you not love me anymore? Ningxi looked at him and asked persistently. Su Yan was helpless against her. How could it be? Who would I love aside from you? Ning Xuelua looked sadly at him. Ningxi, do you still love Ningxi? Su Yan's face froze. Nonsense. We've already talked about this. Why are you thinking about it again? Tonight, you've been looking at her, constantly. Ning Xuelua's expression was full of melancholy. Xuelua, you're overthinking this. I was just afraid that Ningxi would be taken advantage of, Su Yan explained. Taken advantage of? How could she be taken advantage of when it comes to Lu Tingxiao? Su Yan, look at me, do you just feel guilt towards her? Is it just worry you feel, and not jealousy? Su Yan freaked out a little bit, but he kept his cool. I'm just worried, I'm not jealous. Get some rest and stop worrying, all right? There's only you in my heart, do you not believe me? After his affirmation, Ning Xuelua wrapped her arms around his neck and went for his lips. Bro Yan, hold me. Su Yan could feel the girl's breath, her soft, slender chest rubbing against his arms, and there was a sweet, overwhelming aroma emanating off her skin. Su Yan's body reacted quickly. However, for some reason, he was not thinking of Ning Xuelua's. The image of Ning Shi kissing Lu Tingxiao played in his mind, the girl's embarrassed face coming clearly to him. He reacted even more strongly, but he did not feel motivated to act right there and then. Remembering her suggestive relationship with Lu Tingxiao, and her strange attitude towards him, he felt disappointed. He took Ning Xuelua's arms off him and covered her with the sheets. You need to rest. You have an event to attend tomorrow, remember? It's all right, I can skip it, you're all ready. Ning Xuelua touched the man's bulge. Su Yan quickly stopped her hands. I'm all right, go to sleep. He kissed her on the forehead, turned off the light and left. There was the sound of the engine revved up again. Ning Xuelua stood up and went to the windows to watch the car leaving the villa. In a fit, she swooped everything off from her dressing table with her arms. Ning Shi, you witch! Su Yan had actually rejected her. Although his attitude was gentle as usual, this had not happened before. Especially the moment when she kissed him, his eyes did not look right. He was not thinking about her at all. That which must have seduced Su Yan. She might have even contacted Su Yan when she was not aware. Damn it! Did she think she could get Su Yan back? Dream on! The Ning family and the Su family had almost merged together, and they collaborated on numerous big projects. Everything would be destroyed even if something small went wrong. Su Yan could never leave her. After he left the villa, Su Yan drove around aimlessly, then he realized he had arrived at Regal Riviera Hotel. Visit N0VL/BEIN. For the best novel reading experience. He lit a cigarette and sat in the car for a while, but he could not suppress his impulse and entered. Su Yan hesitated in front of Ning Shi's apartment, then he pressed the doorbell. But after a few times, there was no answer at all. Su Yan's eyebrows closed in. Was she asleep or did she not come back at all? At the same time, there was a black Maybach driving slowly on the road, a wild and loud voice shouting from it. The river flows to the east. The stars on the sky form the Big Dipper. Big Dipper! When you see something unfair, do something about it. Lu Tingxiao, who was driving, along with Lu Jingli and Jiang Mai in the back seat, were all speechless. Ning Shi kept on singing while looking at Lu Tingxiao. Driver! Open the window! No! Not that! The window to heaven! Open it! Lu Tingxiao pinched the area between his eyebrows, and he pressed a button. Suddenly, the top of the car came down. Waves of wind went by, and Ning Shi became even more wilder. You're the strongest man. The horse galloping by like a storm, passing through a wide field of grass. Lu Jingli said, a soul of a singer has been born. Bro Shi, have you ever considered being a singer? Jiang Mai could not stand it anymore. Hey! Be more careful. What if journalists took our picture? Ning Shi sobered up a little. Driver, close it up. Close it up. Lu Tingxiao looked at the girl dotingly. It's all right, there are no journalists around. Ning Shi's eyes brightened up and she went wild once again. Ah. Once every 1,000 years, waiting around, every 1,000 years. I have no regrets, who's telling me that you'll love me forever and ever? Just to listen it again, I will do anything for it. Jiang Mai looked dreadfully at her, regretting his decision to follow their car. Lu Jingli made a raspberry, apparently, he was used to all of these. A pair of yuan yang flew by, the scenes were beautiful. Someone asked the monk, "Is the lady pretty? Is that lady pretty? Are they pretty?" Lu Tingxiao answered her, "Very pretty." He. Ningxi finally stopped. At Platinum Palace. The moment they stopped, Lu Jingli and Jiang Mai jumped out of the car and vanished. Lu Tingxiao parked the car and helped the drunk lady to get in. He assisted her to take her shoes off and brought her a hot towel. The girl kept on smiling and Lu Tingxiao was relieved. He caressed her face. "Are you happy?" Ningxi nodded with bright eyes. "Boss, you're always saying the right thing. I've finally found a better, much better script." Grandfather's health had gotten better, her studio was on track, and her new project was starting soon as well. She forgot when was the last time she felt this happy. That dark and horrible experience felt like a memory from her past life. Lu Tingxiao looked her in the eye, then he closed in and kissed her. Read the latest stories en novelbin.com. What are you doing? Why the sudden kissing? Lu Tingxiao smiled at her. Didn't you say it was too sudden and you were not able to feel anything back then? Ugh. Ningxi remembered what she had said during the game of Truth or Dare. The devil's memory was superb. How does it feel? Lu Tingxiao asked again. Ningxi blinked and put on her thinking face. I don't think I felt it clearly, what should I do? Lu Tingxiao laughed and kissed her again. As Ningxi was having fun with the devil, she heard the sound of footsteps and pushed him away, then she fell off the bed. As she expected, the little bun stood by the door rubbing his eyes. He thought he was dreaming as he saw Ningxi here. He then pinched his own face. Ningxi's heart melted as she saw the little bun pinching himself. She held the little guy in her arms and cooed, "Hey, my baby, why are you so cute? You're not dreaming." Father was meeting mother secretly without him again. After he noticed his son's hostile stare, Lu Tingxiao smirked and patted his head. "I'll leave her to you tonight." Turning Auntie Xiaoxi to half a mother, and then to one whole mother, the little guy had been spending a lot of time with Ningxi. Lu Tingxiao covered the both of them with the sheets. "Sleep earlier, I still have some work to do." Ningxi frowned. "This late?" Lu Tingxiao nodded. I need to earn money for the sake of my wife and kid." Ningxi was speechless. Lu Tingxiao smiled again and kissed her on the forehead. "Go to sleep, I'll be done soon." After she put the little bun sleep, Ningxi was about to turn off the lights, but suddenly the phone buzzed with an incoming call. Ningxi pressed the button before it rang, then she walked to the balcony quietly. "Hello? Xiaoxi, where are you? Why are you not home?" Su Yan's impatient voice demanded. "How do you know that I'm not home?" Ningxi raised her eyebrows. "I'm in front of your apartment," Su Yan replied. "What's up? Xiaoxi, where are you now?" Su Yan repeated his question. "Where do you think I should be right now? Sleeping with another man?" Ningxi gripped the coat she was wearing to pull it tightly around her and looked at the little bun who was fast asleep. She could not lose her temper even when Su Yan used such a questioning tone with her. "Ningxi!" Su Yan became serious all of a sudden. "I don't mean that, I just want to remind you to protect yourself, especially against Lu Tingxiao. You should get away from him. Su Yimo has an ambiguous relationship with him and rumor has it that the Lu family have picked a fiancé for him. Moreover, he already has a child. As the best boyfriend in town, in order to prevent Ning Shuelua misunderstanding, he had tried to avoid Ningxi as much as possible, but something was wrong with him tonight. He had actually gone to her apartment to wait for her, and even called her to ask her whereabouts. Visit novilbin.c/m for the L-test updates. Ningxi did not really care about him anymore. Master Su, I have to remind you again, you're in no place to mind my business. And about Lu Tingxiao, I would do anything just to sleep with him for a night. It's much better than marrying someone like you. She hung up right afterwards. Su Yan stared at his phone and his face crumpled. What did she mean by that? That was the biggest humiliation to a man. Especially for Ningxi, someone who had once admired him so much before to say so. It was true that he was not as wealthy and as powerful as Lu Tingxiao, but he was not a nobody either, yet he could not even score a seat in her heart. Su Yan cursed silently, his expression darkening as he punched his car door. She had softened her attitude towards him before this, so why had she returned to this indifferent mean character? The fact that Ningxi could not be easily read and had mood swings made Su Yan continue to think about her, thoughts of her filling his head uncontrollably. The next morning, when she saw the maids downstairs moving things in and out, Ningxi was curious. What's happening? Miss Xiaoxi, these are birthday presents from people, answered Butler Yuan. Birthday presents? Yes, it's the old master's birthday soon. No wonder. Those who had received the birthday banquet invite would definitely only be from the higher class and gentry. On the other hand, those who did not qualify being invited and wanted to kiss up to the Lus would obviously take the chance to swarm in with all sorts of presents. You're awake. Did you sleep well last night? Lu Tingxiao walked out from his bedroom. Ningxi nodded, then she casually said, your father's birthday is coming soon. Ningxi pulled her hair and frowned, would little treasure have to be present then too? Lu Tingxiao knew what her concern was, so he replied, because little treasure has not too healthy in the past 2 years, we did not let him attend the party. We'll see how it goes this year, but even if he attends, it would probably just be a simple appearance. Find EU chapters on nv/lbi.com. Ningxi was assured. You must be very busy recently. Since I have nothing much to do this morning, let me send little treasure to school today. Once she said that, the little bun had already appeared by her leg and looked up at her with a radiant expression. He had obviously heard about Auntie Xiaoxi offering to send him to school. After breakfast, Ningxi changed into a long skirt and wore a pink hair clip. She put on an especially simple and wife-like makeup, then happily sent little treasure to school. Because he had Mother Xiaoxi accompanying him, the little bun was in a fantastic mood. On his usual cold and robotic face, a rare smile cracked, spreading cuteness to all the teachers and parents. A few teachers could not help but lament when they saw this. I thought that Lu Qingyu was autistic, but doesn't he look fine now? Yeah, this child seems to only be close to his mother. He's too cute when he smiles. In fact, he looks especially like his mother when he smiles. He's going to charm so many girls when he grows up. Speaking of which, why do I keep feeling like Mrs. Lu looks kind of familiar? Now that you've mentioned it, I think so too. She looks like a recently popular celebrity. I know who you're talking about. Is it that female warrior who's a couple with Jiang Mai in the world? I quite like her too. But they probably just look alike. If you look closely, their charisma and style is definitely not the same. After she sent the little bun off to class, Ningxi bumped into his teacher in the corridor. Hey, Mrs. Lu! Teacher Wang quickly called to her. Ningxi turned around and greeted Teacher Wang. Mrs. Lu, it's great to see you. I just wanted to have a chat with you. Do you have time now? I do. Ningxi nodded as she could not help but worry. She wondered why Little Treasure's teacher would suddenly look for her. Could he be having some problems in school? In the office, Teacher Wang poured Ningxi a cup of tea and spoke hesitantly. "Mrs. Liu, we have had a few tests before. I wonder if you saw Lu Qingyu's results." "Yes." Ningxi nodded. Teacher Wang was a little stunned at Ningxi's calmness, but she continued, "All his scores were 0. Yes, I'm aware of it. The main point is that he did not make any mistakes, he simply didn't attempt the test at all and submitted blank papers for all of them. Even if he was unsure how to do, it's impossible that he didn't know all of them." Teacher Wang sighed, "I just want to know what is the child thinking? You also know what's happening with your child. We as teachers can't communicate with him well." Ningxi let out a sigh of relief. So, Little Treasure was not bullied at school after all. Ningxi chose her words carefully. "Teacher Wang, I'm grateful for your concern for our child, but please understand that his situation is special. Our purpose of sending him here is to let him interact with kids of his own age, hoping that he would be happier. We do not expect anything further than that. We don't demand that he gets good grades, so you don't have to feel pressured." Teacher Wang was unsure what to reply. It was the first time she had ever heard of a parent being indifferent about their child's grades. Most parents now were focused on their children's achievements, afraid that they might lose out from the start, and began sending them to various classes at very young age. But since the boy's mother herself had already mentioned that grades did not matter, what else could she say? In addition to Little Treasure's special condition, Teacher Wang felt she should not be prying more. "All right then, I understand. I really appreciate your concern about Qingyu. Thank you. If it weren't for you, he wouldn't have adapted to school life this quickly." Ningxi acknowledged her. If she did not understand Little Treasure, she might have worried about him as well. However, she knew him for such a long time, and the little bun's extraordinary genes had surpassed her expectations countless times. His intelligence was way off the charts, and he was talented in many things as well. The only problem was his motivation. Ningxi felt it was humiliating to let the little bun even attempt a kindergarten-level test. Every child was unique in their own way, and they deserved their own way of learning, so why should they force an adult's pride onto them and make them get full marks in tests? F0 Low New Hapters at nov/el/bin/.com. You're welcome, Mrs. Liu, this is my job. Although Lu Qingyu is an introvert, he's very cute and lovable. I hope that he'll do well." Ningxi's respectful attitude prompted Teacher Wang to continue providing her best for the boy. A few days later, in the evening, the banquet for Elder Lu's 60th birthday was about to start and the servants were busy with the preparations. Yen Rui wore an elegant red cheongsam. As she was giving instructions to the servants, she kept on looking outside nervously. Lu Chongshan was pacing around anxiously. Finally, a black Maybach parked near the main entrance. The door opened and two people came out of the car. The father-son duo wore the same style bespoke suits in the same color to fit today's theme. Lu Tingxiao's tie and the little bun's bow tie were a festive bright red. As the both of them made their appearance, they attracted people's attention. The servants started greeting them. "Good evening, First Master." "Good evening, Little Master." When Yen Rui saw her son and grandson, she was relieved, going up to them with a wide smile. "Oh, my baby is back." Lu Chongshan's serious face softened the moment he saw Little Treasure. "Little Treasure is here." Today was a special day. It was his 60th birthday, and no matter whether it was for the public's perspective or for his own desire, he really hoped his only grandson would come. After all, Little Treasure was his only successor. Both of his sons were worrisome. One was going to live the unmarried life, while the other was not interested in either men or women. When he was feeling hopeless about the future of the Liu family, Little Treasure appeared as the light shining through his darkness. Moreover, the little guy was getting cuter, and performed much better than kids of his age. In fact, he was progressing even better than Liu Tingxiao had when he was young. Find the new ST-ovals on n/velben.com. Ever since the appearance of Little Treasure, Liu Chongshan felt relieved and did not bother either of his sons anymore. However, bad luck befell them due to his mistake, and then that incident happened, causing him to blame himself for it for several years. Throughout these few years, Little Treasure's condition was very unstable. A once perfectly normal kid suddenly turned into a soulless doll in darkness and shrouded the Liu family like a large rock weighing on his chest, and he was unable to get it off. And now, Little Treasure had been getting better, but he was still worried. He was constantly anxious, afraid that the same thing might happen again, and that it might lead to another disaster. Liu Chongshan remembered the times when Little Treasure was sitting on his lap and smilingly calling him. His eyes misted over. Tingxiao, you can bring Little Treasure inside first, there are a lot of people here today and he might be scared. Only bring him out later when most of the guests have arrived to greet some people. Okay. Liu Tingxiao nodded, understanding where his father was coming from. Oh, Little Treasure prepared a present for you. Little Treasure blinked and nodded. Liu Chongshan's worries were chased away and he smiled. Oh, really? How nice of you. I'm looking forward to it. After both of them went into the house, Yan Rui sighed, I would be at ease if Little Treasure could recover completely and if Liu Tingxiao would marry Ziyao. Liu Chongshan nodded sagely. It's never going to be that easy. Both of them were totally charmed by that woman. Night soon fell. The gates opened and the invited guests trickled in. All the guests were to pass through a metal detector, and aside from the jewelry on the ladies, all dangerous items were strictly prohibited. More and more people arrived and numerous luxury cars filled the driveway. As an event hosted by one of the most prestigious families in Imperial, journalists were preying on it, but the Liu family had been low profile as usual. Furthermore, the banquet was not open to the public, so no one dared to approach them. Bro Liu, happy birthday! Guan Rui greeted happily. Aside from Guan Ziyao, there was another teenager following after him. Thank you, come in. This is... Liu Chongshan and Yan Rui looked at the teenager beside Guan Rui. He was about 13 or 14 years old, handsome and carried a slight aura of arrogance. This is my grandson, Guan Zhichen. Guan Rui introduced. Yan Rui gushed, oh, Zhichen. He was still so small when I last saw him, but he's all grown up now. I almost couldn't recognize him. He should be in middle school now? Auntie Liu, he's in his 3rd year of high school now, he skipped a few grades, Guan Xiao replied meekly. Wow, impressive. He must be even better than his father next time. Guan Rui was really proud of his grandson, but he carried himself humbly. He still has a long way to go. As they entered the hall, Guan Xiao looked around then asked, Auntie Liu, isn't Little Treasure around? The source of this content n/o/v/l/by/n. Oh, Little Treasure is in the room now. I'm afraid that he might not get used to so many people around, but we'll have him come out later. Yan Rui sounded extra kind and loving the moment she was talked about her grandson. Guan Xiao then clung onto Yan Rui's arms and asked, Auntie, I heard a little about Little Treasure's condition. I had a minor in psychology when I was studying abroad, and I've been in contact with numerous special kids. Maybe I could help and take a look at him? Well... Yan Rui was hesitant. Things cannot remain this way. When Zhichen was 5 years old, he was already following my brother to the company to attend meetings. He was not afraid at all. Guan Xiao continued. She knew the key person in the Lu family was neither Yan Rui nor Lu Chongshan, it was Lu Tingxiao's son, Little Treasure. He was Lu Tingxiao's only son, and Lu Chongshan and Yan Rui's only grandson. Because they only had this sole grandson, they were really concerned about this child more than anything else. Because of this, she had purposely minored in psychology and specialized in autism. When Yan Rui heard her suggestion, she felt uneasy for some reason. Real autism cases would see a child totally cut off from the outside world, but Little Treasure was shocking and acting more extroverted than other kids, so how could he be autistic? Even Qin Mufeng mentioned that Little Treasure did not score highly on the autism spectrum. He surmised that it was more of a post-traumatic disorder. Moreover, ever since Ningxi had appeared, Little Treasure's condition had improved significantly. He started to smile and laugh, even talking. Nevertheless, she knew that Guan Xiao was being nice, so Yan Rui patted her hands and thanked her. "Thank you, Xiao, Little Treasure is doing well now. If there's a need, I'll surely look for you." Before Little Treasure's condition stabilized, she would not let anyone be in contact with Little Treasure easily, even if it was Guan Xiao. Guan Xiao still felt hopeful and she asked, "Is Little Treasure going to school now?" "Yes, he is." "Which school?" Guan Xiao asked again. "Glorious Kindergarten. As far as I know, it's a good school, but it is just a normal kindergarten. With Little Treasure's condition, he should go to a special needs school. I know a school specially designed for kids with autism. I've personally gone there before for a project. It's really well planned and most of the children have had positive changes after they went there. I know the principal. Do you want to have Little Treasure transferred there?" Guan Xiao probed. Although Yan Rui did not think Little Treasure was autistic, if there was anything that could help him progress, she would be willing to try. She was slightly tempted by Guan Xiao's persuasive tone, but she hesitated again. "Well, I need to talk to Ting Xiao about it before making a decision." Guan Xiao quickly clarified, "Of course, it's not an urgent matter, just contact me anytime you need me. I'll talk to Ting Xiao about this later and see what he thinks." "All right, thank you, Xiao." Yan Rui was relieved. Not only did Guan Xiao not mind about Little Treasure's existence, she was so concerned about him, pleasing Yan Rui immensely. As they were chatting casually, a maid suddenly rushed towards them. Whispering into Yan Rui's ears, she said, "Madam, Little Master has gone missing." "What? What did you say?" Yan Rui's expression changed drastically. Discover new stories at nv/lbin.c/o. Guan Xiao looked over. What happened? A while later, Yan Rui, Guan Xiao, Lu Chongshan, Lu Tingxiao, and Lu Jingli all appeared in the room Little Treasure was in. Lu Chongshan looked displeased. Why would he suddenly go missing? What were you doing? The maid looked at Yan Rui, then at Guan Xiao, her expression troubled. In order to avoid Lu Chongshan's anger, she replied honestly, "Actually, Little Master came out a little while ago, but when he overheard Madame Lu's conversation with Ms. Guan, he suddenly ran away. There were too many people at that moment and I was unable to catch up, then I couldn't find him anywhere." The maid was sobbing. The Little Master was the core of the family. If anything happened to him, she would be done for. What were you both talking about? Lu Chongshan stared sharply at Yan Rui and Guan Xiao. Yan Rui's face went pale. Could it be? Guan Xiao's expression changed as well. Say something. Lu Chongshan looked at Yan Rui anxiously. As Lu Chongshan was asking Yan Rui, Guan Xiao's voice sounded out from Lu Tingxiao's phone. Auntie, Little Treasure's condition, I knew a little, special needs child. When Jichen was 5 years old, I knew a school designed for children with autism. As they were talking, Lu Tingxiao had calmly accessed the CCTV system and checked through the footages. Lu Chongshan was visibly unhappy when he heard what Guan Xiao said from the CCTV footage. Little Treasure's kidnapping was a severe matter, and the Lu family sealed off all information from the public. Everyone knew almost nothing about it, but some people within the circle heard bits and pieces of news. In addition to Little Treasure's lack of appearance in public for 2 years, all sorts of rumors came out. Some even assumed that Little Treasure had become mentally retarded due to shock. Little Treasure might exhibit signs of autism, but when he heard Guan Xiao call Little Treasure a special needs child, an autistic child, and even compared him to Guan Zhichen, Lu Chongshan was obviously unhappy. The atmosphere became a little awkward as the footage played. Guan Xiao frowned. My conversation with Auntie Lu doesn't seem to have anything that might have triggered the child. Could there be any other reason? Lu Jingli stared at her and mumbled, not triggered the child? Put yourself in his shoes. Would you be happy if you were being mentioned as sick, ill, and needed to be sent to a special needs school? Little Treasure is a perfectly normal kid. Of course, he would be sad and upset when he heard what you said. Lu Jingli's words were exactly what Lu Chongshan and Yan Rui thought. Guan Xiao's expression froze. While she did not think it was her fault, she could not rebut Lu Jingli. She apologized. I'm sorry, I did not expect this. Yan Rui understood that she did not do this on purpose, so she gave Guan Xiao a pat on her back. Xiao, it isn't your fault, no one expected him to be there to hear what we said. Lu Chongshan was anxious. Our main priority now is to find Little Treasure. If anything happened, the consequences could be fatal. The source of this content n/o/v/l by n. Ting Xiao, can you see where Little Treasure went in the camera footage? Yan Rui asked worriedly. Lu Tingxiao replied, he purposely avoided the security cameras. Guan Xiao was surprised when she heard Lu Tingxiao. How could a 5-year-old child know how to avoid security cameras? Was Lu Tingxiao exaggerating? It could just be a coincidence. Yan Rui became even more concerned. What now? There are so many guests today. Guan Xiao was thinking of making up for her mistake, so she suggested, usually, children with a personality like Little Treasure lack a sense of security. They would hide in places they feel the safest, so he might be hiding in the room. Have you looked through the room? Guan Xiao asked the maid. The maid nodded. I've looked through. Are you sure? Guan Xiao asked again. In the cupboards, under the bed, everywhere? Cupboards? Under the bed? The maid shook her head and frowned. No, those places, little master loves to be clean, he would never go into those places. Just look for him there. With my experience, those are the places with the highest possibility. Guan Xiao exclaimed. The maid did not act immediately, she looked to Lu Chongshan and Yan Rui. After getting permission, everyone in the room started looking around. After some time, they still could not find him. Guan Xiao thought about it again. Does the child have places he likes to go? The maid replied with sweat coming through her uniform. I've looked through every place that he could possibly be in. What now? Ting Xiao. Say something. Yan Rui looked at her eldest son in desperation. Lu Tingxiao stared at his phone. I've looked through the exits, he's still within the perimeter. It's all my fault, I didn't notice he was near, and said something that upset him. Yan Rui started blaming herself. Lu Chongshan did not give up. That means he's still somewhere around here? But, we still have to look for him. We can't just leave him alone, can we? Let him calm down, Lu Tingxiao said expressionlessly. Lu Chongshan was enraged. Are you serious right now? He's only 5 years old. You want him to calm down? Little Treasure is already unstable, and he's only gotten better recently. Do you want him to go back to the state he was in before? Seeing that Lu Tingxiao was not doing anything, Lu Chongshan suppressed his anger. Fine, you don't have to tell me. Call that woman over. That woman. As soon as she heard the keyword, Guan Ziyao was on high alert. Lu Tingxiao looked at his father coldly. Who are you talking about? That WOM. Lu Chongshan stared at his son, Ningxi. Up-to-date OVLS on O.V.L. bin. CM. I wonder who she is to us Lus, that she has to come here the moment you summon her? Lu Tingxiao said slowly. Lu Jingli shook his head, knowing that the wife-protecting devil had just been activated. Aren't you guys dating right now? Lu Chongshan was annoyed. I see father knows about it. Lu Tingxiao's casual remark was intentional. They knew he already had a partner, yet they still tried to match him with other women. They called her that woman, but when some crisis happened, then only would they remember her as Lu Tingxiao's girlfriend. Lu Chongshan was embarrassed as he was dissed by his own son in front of an outsider. You bastard, is this the way to talk to your own father? Why are the both of you arguing? Is this the right time to do this? Yan Rui pulled Lu Chongshan away, hinting him to calm down for Little Treasure's sake. Yan Rui then looked at Lu Tingxiao. Tingxiao, your father is just a little upset than usual, don't mind him. Little Treasure is our priority now. Bro, anyhow let's call sister-in-law over in case of an emergency. Lu Jingli tried to soften the atmosphere as it was their father's birthday anyway. Yan Rui nodded. Lu Tingxiao spoke up, I'll call her and see if she's available. What did he mean by asking her availability? She should come here immediately even if she was busy. What else was more important than Little Treasure? Lu Chongshan was unhappy at Lu Tingxiao's attitude, but he could not say anything about it. Okay, quickly call her. Yan Rui said. Guan Ziyao was alert when she saw what had unfolded in front of her. What just happened? Judging from the situation, it seemed like that woman had quite an influence over Little Treasure. Influential enough for Yan Rui and Lu Chongshan to acknowledge her even though it was obvious that they did not like her. She was just a petty actress, so how could she be capable of being close to Little Treasure? Guan Ziyao had already investigated. Even one of the most capable psychiatrists in the country could not do anything about Little Treasure. At the same time, in Spirit Studio, Ningxi dropped by the studio after attending an event. Gong Xiangze, Han Momo, and Qiao Weilan were working hard. After Ningxi greeted them, she summoned Gong Xiangze alone to her office. Boss, what's up? Ningxi nodded and looked at him. Tell me what you think about Director Qiao. Gong Xiangze looked hesitant. The truth? Ningxi laughed. Of course. All right. Gong Xiangze cleared his throat. I'll start with her personality. She's a pretty cold person, so we dare not to talk to her any more than necessary. But her abilities are top-notch. Tasks that might take us a few days to finish can be completed by her in an instant. Our efficiency has increased sharply in the few days that she's been here. In fact, we're almost done with the orders we received after Fashion Week. Ningxi let out a sigh of relief. Gong Xiangze hesitated again, but what? But, how do I put it? I can feel that her focus isn't here. She does not proactively do anything else here aside from what she's been assigned to, Gong Xiangze replied honestly. It was just as Ningxi expected. It's already a blessing to have her with us here. She had suddenly been transferred here, and to her, it was just a mission from Qin Xingyue. She probably just hoped that she would commit no mistakes, and that she would not do things that were outside her job scope. Once the time was up, she would leave. All right, I got the big picture. Anyhow, Qiao Weilan's arrival has been a big help to us, so be nice to her. As for the studio, we need to improve on our own, we can't always rely on her, Ningxi said. Gong Xiangze replied, understood, boss. As they were talking, Ningxi's phone suddenly rang. It was Lu Tingxiao. Suddenly, her powerful aura faded and she turned gentle and sweet. Discover W stories on no/e/lbin.com. Gong Xiangze instantly knew who was calling. Boss, if there's nothing else, I'll get back to work. All right then. After Gong Xiangze went out, Ningxi picked up her phone. Hey, boss, what's the matter? What are you doing? Lu Tingxiao asked her gently. I'm in the studio, just checking on the progress. If you're not very busy, could you come by the Lu residence? Lu Tingxiao asked. I'm not that busy, but why so sudden? Isn't today your father's birthday? Ningxi frowned and realized that something was not right. Did something happen to Little Treasure? Don't worry, Little Treasure is all right. It's just that he's gone missing. I've looked through the security camera footage of the exits. He didn't leave, he's still around the perimeter, Lu Tingxiao replied. What? Missing? Why is he suddenly missing? I'll come over now. Fill me in on the details later. Ningxi acted instantly the moment she realized it was Little Treasure. Take your time, grab a taxi, don't drive on your own. Lu Tingxiao reminded her, apparently worried that she would drive recklessly. All right, I know. At the Lu residence, Lu Jingli and Yan Rui were relieved when they knew Ningxi was coming. Guan Ziyan forced a smile, and she tried to ask casually, so, it seems that Ningxi is on good terms with Little Treasure. Yeah, our Little Treasure likes her, and usually listens to her, Yan Rui phrased her words carefully. She could never hide this, so she tried to mentally prepare Guan Ziyao. Guan Ziyao did not expect that the woman would be smarter than she looked. She had actually established a good relationship with Little Treasure this early. Guan Ziyao sighed, that's great, hopefully we'll find Little Treasure once Ms. Ning is here. Although she sounded hopeful, she knew that Ningxi was not here frequently and probably had not even gone through the whole of the Lu residence before. The house was so big, it was impossible for her to find Little Treasure on her own. The greater the hope, the greater the disappointment. Lu Chongshan and Yan Rui realized that as well, but they had no other better ideas. We cannot just rely on an outsider. I've asked some servants to look for him discreetly. If all else fails, I'll wrap up the banquet earlier. Lu Chongshan spoke up. Guan Ziyao was surprised. Although she had prepared herself for it, she did not realize how important Little Treasure was to Lu Chongshan. At the Lu residence, most of the guests had already arrived when Ningxi reached. The residence was well lit and she could hear music and the sound of chatter from outside. The security was tight, so taxis could only reach the bottom of the hill. The moment Ningxi alighted from the taxi, she saw Lu Jingli already waiting there. What happened tonight? Lu Jingli revved up the car engine and explained the whole ordeal to her. This is what happened. Little Treasure is still hiding somewhere now, the poor kid. Ningxi squinted her eyes. Is that Guan Zhichen really that amazing? He's been rumored to be a genius since he was little. He's already attending the 3rd year of high school at just 13 years old, and he's applying to the Imperial University next year. Of course, he's incomparable with our little treasure, even I'm no better, alright? As they were talking, they arrived at the entrance of Lu residence. Lu Jingli opened the door for Ningxi as he worriedly scratched his head. Xiao Shishi, it's going to be tricky this time. What happened in the past was mostly him locking himself up in the attic, but he's disappeared this time, and you're not that familiar with the surroundings here, but don't force yourself. If we really can't find him, Father will end the banquet earlier. There's nothing more important than little treasure. As Lu Jingli was mumbling, Ningxi suddenly yelled, then she bent over in surprise and held up the little guy that had rushed up to her from the dark. Little treasure? My baby! You almost scared Auntie Xiaoxi to death. Where have you been? Lu Jingli was speechless, gaping at them. Bro Shi, your fully automatic treasure-seeking ability is awesome. At the same time, Lu Tingxiao, Lu Chongshan, and Yan Rui were somewhere in the garden along with Guan Ziyao. There were also a few tense maids joining the search party. The butler was speaking through a walkie-talkie, giving out some instructions. Explore new ovals on nvelbai.com. Master, we can't find little master anywhere. Butler Xing was sweltering heavily. Lu Chongshan's expression darkened. Add more people to the search party. If we add more people, the guests are going to get suspicious. Butler Xian hesitated. They had told the crowd that an expensive necklace of Yan Rui had gone missing and that they were looking for it, but if they add more people to the search party, it would seem inappropriate. Moreover, the host family had not been present after such a long time, so the guests were probably already suspecting something happened. Retreat, Lu Tingxiao said a single word to Xing Wu after checking the time on his wrist. One said to add more people, another one said to retreat. Xing Wu looked at the elder, then looked at First Master. Who should he listen to? Why should they retreat? We haven't found little treasure yet. Lu Chongshan fumed. Ningxi's going to be here soon, Lu Tingxiao replied. So what? Is she a god? We have looked through almost every inch of the place and couldn't find little treasure. What in the world can she do? Lu Chongshan was not convinced. Tingxiao, little treasure's safety is important. Listen to Uncle Lu. Guan Ziyao tried to persuade him. Xing Wu, what are you standing there for? Lu Chongshan urged him. As Xing Wu was in a dilemma as to what to do, he suddenly saw a surprise in front of him. Little master. What? Little treasure? Where? Yan Rui and Lu Chongshan asked at once. That seems like little master. Everyone looked at the direction Xing Wu was pointing at. They saw Lu Jingli and Ningxi walking towards them, and Ningxi was holding a child in her arms. The little guy had Lu Jingli's coat on him and he was holding Ningxi's neck tightly as he buried his face in her arms, a position that displayed extreme insecurity. Everyone was surprised with joy. Jingli, where did you guys find little treasure? Yan Rui was excited. We didn't even try. The moment sister-in-law appeared, little treasure showed up. Lu Jingli explained. They were speechless. No one expected this to happen, and they all looked confused. In the end, Ningxi did not find little treasure had found her. No wonder Lu Tingxiao was so calm when Ningxi arrived. He was sure that little treasure would be found. Obviously, little treasure was still around, but he did not want to show himself. He would come out on his own the moment he saw the person he wanted to see, the one that he could rely on and gave him enough sense of security. Lu Chongshan and Yan Rui were relieved, although they were unsure what attitude they should face Ningxi with. Ningxi did not care about them at all. She was just concerned about little treasure, comforting him gently. The little guy was holding his writing board tightly, seeming like he wanted to say something. Little treasure, what's wrong? Ningxi took the writing board from him. Her eyes reddened the moment she saw what was written. Mother, I want to go home. Mother, I want to go home. Yen Rui cried when she saw what Little Treasure had written. She then realized how much damage her conversation with Guan Xiao had caused Little Treasure. He would not have written such helpless words if he was not this upset. They claimed to be the people that loved Little Treasure the most, but they could not even provide him a place to call home. Little Treasure had never felt a sense of belonging here. He was at home, yet he said he wanted to go home. Guan Xiao's attention was on the word mother. She thought this woman was probably friendlier with Little Treasure, but he had already recognized her as his mother. She had to speed up her process. Ningxi did not want to face this situation at the moment and she was prepared to leave after comforting the little bun, but she changed her mind. With what had happened that day, she wanted to make sure that no one would look down on the little bun again. Even though her journey with Lu Tingxiao might be harsh, she hoped that even without her, the little bun could go on well. Ningxi suppressed her emotions and spoke to the little bun gently, "Dear baby, it's your home here, and it's grandfather's birthday today. Don't you remember we prepared a gift for grandfather?" The little bun did not give any response, he just grabbed Ningxi even tighter. "I'll accompany you to give the present to grandfather, okay?" Ningxi continued. Little Treasure finally nodded. He wanted to go home, and home was wherever mother was. After comforting the little bun, Ningxi looked at the two elders. She spoke in a concerned tone, "Little Treasure is really cold now, he's probably caught a cold from staying outside in the breeze. It'd be great if he could take a hot shower right now." Yen Rui hurriedly invited, "Come inside. Don't just stand in the garden." Lu Chongshan was mentally prepared for Little Treasure to leave with Ningxi, but since Little Treasure was going to stay now, he quickly let them in. As long as Little Treasure stayed here, he would even allow that woman to show her face here. The guests were already whispering in the banquet hall and shooting furtive looks, so Lu Chongshan went into the hall after confirming that Little Treasure's condition was stable. "I'm sorry for the wait. Thank you, everyone, for coming here for my birthday today." "You're welcome, Elder Lu. We're honored to be invited." The guests greeted him warmly without any odd expression on the surface, but they were all suspecting what had happened. "What do you think happened tonight?" They said Madame Lu's precious necklace went missing, but if it was just a necklace, would the whole host family need to disappear for so long? "It's probably the little guy again." "I guess so too. The Lu family sure is unlucky, they only have this sole successor and he's retarded." UW Evils up Tez on NOV/L/B/I. Com. Heh, the Lu family has probably done a lot of dirty deals before, so the karma landed on their grandchild. The Lu family is ridiculous. We didn't even say anything when Lu Tingxiao had a child before getting married, and you were just trying to be considerate to that child. Not only are they not grateful, how could they put the blame on you? Guan Rui was incensed after he found out what had happened from her daughter. "Don't make a scene, Father, Uncle Lu and Auntie Lu did not blame me. They were comforting me by assuring me that it has nothing to do with me. They even thanked me," Guan Xiao explained. Guan Rui's expression softened. "That's more like it, that woman. Is she really that close to Little Treasure?" Guan Xiao nodded unhappily. "I saw Little Treasure addressing her as his mother." Guan Rui was not surprised. He looked at his daughter and asked quietly, "Xiao, what do you think is your top priority now?" "Improving my relationship with Little Treasure," Guan Xiao replied. Guan Rui shook his head. "You're wrong. Although you're smart, you really have mistaken your priority here. With that kid's current condition, he's as good as useless trash now. What good could come out of you improving your relationship with trash? That woman already had the child on her side, but did you see Lu Chongshan and Yan Rui being nice to her? They didn't acknowledge her even if she was already in a relationship with Lu Tingxiao. She was not invited and could only attend the event today by using that child. Guan Xiao thought about it. It's because that woman is from an unknown lineage. I can also see that Uncle Lu and Auntie Lu are really concerned about little treasure, so I'd like to at least have him like me, then Lu Tingxiao might start to notice my worth. Guan Rui sighed and explained to her, little treasure is their only successor, and he's their actual grandson, so of course, they'd be concerned. It's exactly because they are concerned that they will be very strict and careful with selecting the mother to little treasure. Do you understand what does the position as the future madam of Lu family mean? No matter how close the woman gets to little treasure, at best, they would just hire her to become a private tutor, or even his nanny, to take care of him, but do you think Lu Chongshan would be stupid enough to let her marry Lu Tingxiao? Well... Guan Xiao started to falter. Guan Rui gave his daughter a pat on the back. Xiao, don't get your priorities wrong. What you should do now is to impress Lu Chongshan and Yan Rui. Of course, it'll be easy for you. You've mentioned the main point just now. That woman is not from a renowned family, so no matter how much she tries, she will never get into the Lu family. CHCK for US to rise on no/v/l/bin. C0M. You have to act more generously, don't be irritated by such small matters. Act like the lady capable of holding up the Lu family, then the position will be yours, understood? Father, I understand. After listening, Guan Xiao sat up straight, her annoyance fading at once. Guan Rui beamed at his daughter. That's great. There was another important thing that he did not mention. By the time Xiao joined the Lu family and had her own child with Lu Tingxiao, Lu Chongshan and Yan Rui would definitely be pleased to have a grandchild with such amazing genes from the Guan family. When that time came, they would definitely shift their focus away from that trash. There were sounds of knocking on the door, so Ningxi opened the door. A maid was carefully holding a bowl of soup outside. Ms. Ning, this is some ginger soup as per Madame Lu's instructions. It can help to prevent a cold. All right, thank you, I'll feed little master with this once he's done showering. You're welcome, it's my job. The little maid bowed before leaving. Ningxi left the ginger soup on the table and knocked on the bathroom door. Lu Tingxiao, are you guys done? We're done, Lu Tingxiao replied from the bathroom. Lu Tingxiao brought little treasure out. The little bun had a big towel wrapped around him, his hair still damp, looking all fluffy in his father's arms. Ningxi was charmed instantly and stretched out her arms. Lu Tingxiao, I want to hold him. The little bun extended his arms as well and Lu Tingxiao gently passed him over to Ningxi. Ningxi kissed the little guy on his cheek, then she spooned the ginger soup into his mouth. Little treasure, this soup might not taste very nice, but it's good for preventing colds, it's good for your health. The little bun drank it all without struggling. Ningxi clapped her hands. You're awesome. You finished it. The little bun looked at her brightly after he changed into his clean clothes and drank the ginger soup. Ningxi checked the time and advised, Lu Tingxiao, you should bring little treasure out to greet the guests first. Lu Tingxiao nodded and did not ask Ningxi if she decided to let little treasure stay. The little bun was a little anxious when he heard Ningxi. Ningxi patted his head as she smiled. Don't you worry, you go down with your father first, I'll be there after I change. The little bun quickly calmed down. He nodded and held his father's hand. CHCK for US to rise on no/v/l/bin. C0M. After comforting the little bun, she looked at Lu Tingxiao hesitantly. Well, boss, I'm giving you a heads up. I might be doing something offensive later. Lu Tingxiao replied, be as offensive as you like, I'll back you up. Ningxi was speechless. Why did he sound like a dictator? But even so, he was so charming. She felt it was awesome that someone was backing her up even though she was about to do something really nasty. We haven't seen CEO Lu tonight. I didn't see him as well, probably he's not coming? Some people were already talking about Lu Tingxiao as was nowhere to be seen. It was his father's 60th birthday, and as the current head of the Lu family, it was inappropriate for him not to attend. Most people were already sure that something had happened to the little master. As people were asking around, Lu Chongshan started to worry about little treasure's condition now. Tingxiao. As Lu Chongshan was about to cook up an excuse, suddenly two familiar shadows entered from the entrance. Someone noticed, then yelled, "Oh! CEO Lu is here, ugh, the kid beside CEO Lu is." Suddenly, everyone was looking towards the entrance. Lu Tingxiao had a black suit on him, his tie standing out in a bright color. As usual, he showed no expression with his ice-cold aura. Yet, this cold and strange man was holding a little boy's hand. The little boy looked about 5 or 6 years old with fair skin and big eyes. He wore the same retro-style suit as Lu Tingxiao, looking like a little gentleman from the past. Most importantly, while the little boy looked cute, it was obvious that he looked almost identical to his father. His aura and expression were exactly the same as the man's next to him. Judging by his looks alone, it was easy to know that he was the rumored little master of the Lu family. CHCK for US to rise on no/v/l/bin. C0M. Facing such a big crowd and everyone's stare, his expression remained the same. Just like his father, he was calm and collected. Suddenly, everyone thought that this was as expected of a child from the Lu family. However, that was weird. Was the rumor not that the little master was retarded and had to stay hidden from the public? How did that boy look retarded? The crowd surrounded them when Lu Tingxiao came down through the stairs with little treasure, and everyone greeted them warmly. Oh! This must be Qingyu. He has grown so much. I remember the last time we met was 5 years ago at his full moon celebration party. How time flies. Qingyu, do you still remember me? You came to my house when you were 3, I even held you before. Many guests of the elder generation commented, when I saw Qingyu just now, for a moment I thought he was Tingxiao. He looked exactly the same when he was little. You're right. Xiao Shishi, here are the clothes you requested. I tried my best to borrow it from Xiao Rong, and she almost suspected me to be a pervert. Lu Jingli complained while holding a maid's outfit in his hands. Ningxi quickly took them and looked at him happily. That's great! Thank you! Xiao Shishi, are you really going to wear that tonight? While I think, my brother will surely like your uniform seduction, don't you want to be all glamorous and beautiful for the occasion today? At least, pose a threat to Guanziyao. I could arrange the outfits for you now, or even get you a professional stylist. Lu Jingli suggested excitedly. Ningxi glanced at Lu Jingli's charged-up expression. No, thank you, I can move around easier in this. She grinned. Tonight, it's not my stage. Lu Jingli was confused. Eh? Then whose? You'll find out later. Get out now. I'm going to change. Yes, madam. Lu Jingli quickly stepped out. He was suddenly looking forward to his brother's reaction when he saw Xiao Shishi in a maid's outfit. All the servants' outfits in the Lu family were personally handled by him, including the designs and material selection. He had put the most effort into the maid outfits. In the banquet hall, Little Treasure was the center of attraction. All the guests tried to talk to him as soon as they saw his cute, chubby face. Even if there was something really wrong with him, he definitely looked cute. Check new Avulchers at novilbin.com. Looking at the people around talking to him, and with the fact that Mother Xiaoxi was not here yet, Little Treasure was getting impatient. He felt like running away again. He did not want to stay here anymore. Lu Tingxiao realized the little guy's discomfort, so he looked at his son and spoke to him quietly, "Wait for a while more." The little bun blinked his eyes and trailed after his father unhappily. Little Treasure stayed silent the whole time. His broodiness got more and more obvious as some attentive guests noticed and asked out of concern, "CEO Lu, why does Qingyu not look very well tonight? Is he not feeling well? If he's not well, let the child have some rest. Don't push himself too hard," Guan Rui suggested. "That's right, health is more important." Amongst the guests' concerned opinions, suddenly there was the clear voice of a girl coming through. "First Master, I'm here." A girl in a maid's outfit ran towards them. The girl had her hair tied up in double pigtails. Her eyes were big and she had very fair skin. She looked pretty young and she appeared out of breath before Lu Tingxiao. With a respectful gesture, she said, "First Master?" Lu Tingxiao coughed lightly to recover from his wife's sudden attack in the form of uniform seduction. Lu Tingxiao handed his son to Ningxi and said calmly, "Bring Little Master to eat something first." "All right, First Master." "Little Master, follow me." Ningxi bent down and extended her hand to Little Treasure as she cheekily blinked at him. The little bun looked at Mother, surprised. He gave her a big smile and happily followed her to the food area. Lu Tingxiao was speechless as Ningxi and Little Treasure walked away happily. He did not expect her to accompany Little Treasure this way, but it did seem like something she would do. No wonder Little Treasure looked unhappy. He's hungry. It's the period of growing for little kids, they have to be well-fed every meal. Lu Chongshan's tensed-up body relaxed and he smiled. That kid is not very outspoken. He doesn't usually like to talk. He thought Ningxi would surely try to take the spotlight or even stick beside Lu Tingxiao to declare her status as his girlfriend, yet she had chosen to stay beside Little Treasure quietly, taking him by surprise. "Ha ha ha, just like Tingxiao when he was little." Lu Chongshan chuckled, "That's different, Tingxiao was much more boring than Qingyu." The crowd laughed. The bunch of old friends reminisced about the fun stuff that happened when Lu Tingxiao and Lu Jingli were still little and the atmosphere softened. So, it was genetical after all. Little Treasure's quietness was explained, and nothing seemed strange anymore. At a quiet table inside the banquet hall. "What did you say? That little maid is Tingxiao's girlfriend?" "Yes, but I don't understand why she's dressed that way." Guan Xiao could not help feeling that that woman was hiding something. Guan Rui replied in a tone of contempt, "Lu Chongshan and Yan Rui aren't acknowledging her, so she does not dare to appear beside Lu Tingxiao in public and has to act as a servant." "Xiao, you don't have to waste your time on a person like her, spend your effort." As Guan Rui was still lecturing his daughter, Lu Tingxiao suddenly came over, "Uncle Guan, thank you for coming to my father's birthday dinner tonight." Guan Rui was flattered as Lu Tingxiao had come to greet him personally. He smiled at the man. "You're much welcome, Tingxiao, I'm good friends with your father." After some small talk, Lu Tingxiao raised his hand to signal someone. While Ningxi was eating with Little Treasure, she suddenly saw Lu Tingxiao summoning her, so she let Little Treasure know, then she ran over, "First Master, is there anything I can help you with?" Guan Rui and Guan Xiao looked at Lu Tingxiao in confusion, unsure of why he had asked this woman to come over. Maybe he wanted to ask her to get some wine. UW evils up tes on NOV/L/B/I.com. Lu Tingxiao looked at the girl gently, then looked at Guan Rui and introduced them. Uncle Guan, this is my girlfriend, Ning Shi. Xiao Shi, this is Uncle Guan, a good friend of my father's. You don't have to put up an act in front of him. Ah, what was the devil trying to do, introducing her to Guan Rui? Was he trying to irritate Guan Rui and Guan Xiao? Fine. It might be intentional. Ning Shi was surprised, but she went along with Lu Tingxiao and greeted, "Hello, Uncle Guan." Hello. Guan Rui looked very displeased all of a sudden. What did Lu Tingxiao mean by this? He knew that their families had the intention for him and Guan Xiao marry, yet he had introduced this woman to him on purpose. However, he did not say anything more. After all, Lu Tingxiao had not done anything wrong and was just being polite by introducing her to him. You can go and take care of little treasure now. Lu Tingxiao gestured to Ning Shi to go back after she had greeted them. Then, as if he did not notice Guan Rui and Guan Xiao's change in expressions, Lu Tingxiao continued, "That was inappropriate of me. I actually wanted to introduce her to everyone, but Xiao Shi really prioritizes her career. Because of her job, we can't publicly announce our relationship just yet. I just have to put up with it." Right, it was inevitable. Guan Rui was so offended that he almost snapped the stem of his wine glass by holding it tightly, but he still had to maintain his integrity as Lu Tingxiao's elder. On the other hand, Guan Xiao was weaker and she already looked pale. Guan Rui took a deep breath and returned to a calm state as he faked a smile. "Tingxiao, as your elder, I have to remind you that the girl does not come from a prestigious family and that she's not worthy of you. I'm afraid that your parents would not acknowledge her as well, yes? You have to understand that girls from that industry are mostly into it for money, but it's all right if you're just playing around. If you're being serious, that's really inappropriate then." Lu Tingxiao looked at Guan Rui and replied expressionlessly, "Thank you for your concern. In terms of statuses and all that, it's sure unworthy. I'm not worthy of Xiao Shi." With that, Lu Tingxiao spun away on his heel. Guan Rui and Guan Xiao were stunned. What did Lu Tingxiao mean? What did Lu Tingxiao mean just now? Isn't that woman just the adopted daughter abandoned by the Ning family? Guan Rui frowned. It seems like she's not adopted, she's the biological daughter. Guan Xiao mumbled. Guan Rui sneered, "Even if she's from the Ning family, she's nothing compared to you." But according to what Lu Tingxiao said, it seems like the woman has some other more prestigious identity. Guan Rui thought about it and assured, "I'll investigate further later on, pay it no mind. That guy is still too young and he probably just wanted to irritate me plus oppose his family's arrangement. In the whole of Imperial, how many people are there that the Lu family is not worthy of? There's only a handful of them. And none of them could ever be related to Ning Shi." The dinner continued harmoniously and most of the crowd focused on the elusive little master of the Lu family. Some people even secretly hoped that the child would embarrass himself out of their jealousy. To their chagrin, they were all disappointed as Little Treasure was really obedient after following Ning Shi. To everyone, there was no difference compared to a normal kid. His condition seemed to have stabilized after 2 years of treatment. If not, the Lu family would not have let him appear in public. UW evils up tes on NOV/L/B/I.com. Aside from the little master of the Lu family, the other star of the night could only be the genius from the recently returned Guan family. As expected of a top student, he did not forget about his studies even during the dinner. He heard that some bright people were gathered here today, so he actually brought a few maths questions that he was unable to solve. To his delight, some guests were interested and tried to solve the equations with him. "Oh my gosh, is this really a middle school mathematics question?" This is crazy. I pity students nowadays. Ha ha ha, Mo Ling Tian, you're just an underachiever. You don't even understand the questions. These are university-level questions, and they are at a competitive level, someone mocked Mo Ling Tian. Mo Ling Tian's mouth twitched. Ugh, fine, it's not the questions that are crazy, this top student from the Guan family is crazy. Ah. I think I solved it. Is the answer to the first question -9? A young teen with glasses asked eagerly. Guan Shichen replied expressionlessly as he shook his head, nope, the answer is 0. Ugh, I'm wrong again. The young teen was disappointed. I've worked out the solution already. I can teach you, but I can't solve the second question yet. Elder Guan. Your grandson is amazing. A few guests were gawking at the group of brainiac kids, their eyes were full of envy. Lu Chongshan praised the boy as well, like father, like son. Guan Rui shrugged helplessly. He's going to become a bookworm, I'm really having a headache about it. I brought him here to help him relax, yet now he even brought his questions up when I was not noticing. Elder Guan, you should be glad. My kid at home would not even try to read even if I beat him up. Can your kid compare to Elder Guan's grandson? His IQ is 180 and he's already received several International Olympic Mathematics Awards at the age of 10. He's really amazing. I think he's even better than Ting Xiao when he was young. The younger generations are getting better and better, a close guest of the families commented. As the host, Lu Chongshan went along with the crowd and praised Guan Rui since they were going to become a family soon, but he chuckled to himself when he heard that comment. Better than Lu Tingxiao when he was little? That was some big talk. Lu Chongshan did not show his emotions on the surface nonetheless. Of course, he's better than Tingxiao. Guan Rui waved his hands in denial. You guys have to stop praising him, he's going to become full of himself. He could never be up to Ting Xiao's standard. I would be really glad if he could be at least half capable as his Uncle Xiao. You're too humble, Elder Lu, he's going to do something great. For families like ours, the most important thing isn't the money we earn or the properties we own, it's the people. As long as our successors are capable, that's the real treasure of the family. No matter how great your family is, with an incapable successor, it will surely fall in a few generations. That's right. Elder Guan is really blessed. Xiao, Zihao, and Shichen are all superb. Exactly, unlike us, still having to worry about the useless kids at home. Many people were able to relate to their words, at the same time, suddenly remembering the worrying situation of the heir to the Lu family. So what if they were the richest family in Imperial? No matter how great Lu Tingxiao was, he could, at most, hang on for 1 or maybe 2 generations. Numerous shareholders and supporters had their eyes on the family. If there was no capable successor after Lu Tingxiao, things might be chaotic and the Lu dynasty might even fall within a night. It was not an uncommon sight in cases like these. No one could predict what would happen in the future. Somewhere in the banquet hall, Ningxi noticed a group of people flattering the Guan family, and she knew her chance had arrived. Mo Ling Tian and a few other guys had been defeated by Guan Shichen's mathematics question and were even humiliated by their own parents, making them all feel very embarrassed. UW evils up tes on nov/l/bi.com. Mo Ling Tian could not help it anymore, so he spoke up helplessly, Shichen, we're all underachievers here. Even if we learned about it before, it's been so long ago that we've all forgotten about it. Why not you ask your aunt? Surely she could solve them. Guan Shichen looked at Guan Xiao and mumbled, she explained it to me before but I didn't get it, then she got angry at me and was unwilling to teach me again. Ugh, well. Mo Lingtian shrugged cluelessly, but he then suddenly thought of something. I know! Uncle Xiao will surely know this. Where's Lu Tingxiao? Guan Xiao stared at Mo Lingtian unhappily. Tingxiao is busy, don't pester him, it's Xichen's fault for not being able to solve this, let him think on his own. Xiao, you're too strict. Xichen is only 13. Mo Lingtian replied. The crowd was impressed by the education method of the Guans. This is what I call real elite education. They are this strict to their sole male grandchild, no wonder he's this amazing. Hey, Elder Guan, what's the secret to educating kids? Give us some tips. As the guests were discussing children's education with Guan Rui, a girl's clear voice came through. Master Mo, I heard you're looking for First Master. Was there something you need? He is greeting some guests outside. I can help you to send a message if it's something urgent. Oh, it's nothing urgent, just a mathematics question. Ugh, you little bunny, how are you here? His voice faded off to a lower tone. Mo Lingtian was shocked when he realized who the maid he was talking to was. He almost could not recognize her disguise. Ningxi ignored his question and continued her act, scanning the questions Mo Lingtian had in his hands. This looks easy, we shouldn't need First Master. Is it all right if I get Little Master to help? What? Mo Lingtian thought he heard her wrong. Who did you say? Little Treasure? Ningxi nodded. Yes, our Master Qingyu. Mo Lingtian ignored Ningxi's outfit. He reminded her, little girl, look at this properly, but you probably don't understand it as well anyways, this is not some kindergarten mathematics, it's advanced mathematics, and these are competitive level questions. Visit no.v3lb/n.cm for new OVL. Oh, no problem, Master Mo, Little Master is really good. Ningxi blinked her eyes and asked Little Treasure in a coy voice, Little Master, this little brother here needs some help with a question, can you help him? Little Treasure nodded in enthusiasm. Lu Chongshan was already frowning when Ningxi had appeared, and now he felt it was ridiculous when he realized what she was trying to do. He suppressed his anger and stopped her. There's nothing for you to do here, stop bothering the guests and bring the Little Master somewhere else. Seeing how this maid was acting so foolishly, some guests pitied Lu Chongshan, but most of them were laughing inside. Why did the Lu family get someone so stupid to take care of the Little Master? Could it be easier for them to communicate with their low IQ? Guan Rui and Guan Xiao looked at each other in amusement. Before, they were cautious about this woman's presence, but now they thought she could be ignored. Seeing the maid from the Lu family asking a little kid to help him, and even bragging that he could surely solve it, Guan Zhichen felt humiliated. Flaring his nostrils haughtily, he handed over his workbook. You said that he can help me? Sure, let him try. Guan Xiao tried to stop him. Zhichen, stop being unreasonable, Qingyu is only 5 years old. I'm sorry for the fuss. Lu Chongshan had never felt this embarrassed. It's all right, she just didn't get to look at the questions properly. Guan Rui acted generously. The woman was probably trying to get on Lu Chongshan's good side, but she could not even understand the standards of these questions. How foolish! Suddenly, the crowd was cheering. As the guests were talking, Little Treasure scrawled a number on the exercise book. Hey, Qingyu wrote a 0, what's the correct answer again? It was 0, wasn't it? That's right. It's 0. Qingyu got it right. At that moment, Guan Rui, Guan Xiao, Guan Zhichen, and even Lu Chongshan were shocked. Guan Zhichen frowned. Qingyu, you could tell me if you don't know. You shouldn't simply doodle on the exercise book. Guan Zhichen did not think it was a number. Many people, including Lu Chongshan, assumed that Little Treasure was probably doodling his circles. Ningxi squatted down and spoke to the little bun gently. "Little master, you can't do it this way. He doesn't understand how to solve the question, so you have to write down all the steps in detail, then only you can help him." Little Treasure blinked and looked at his mother, then he started scribbling on the exercise book obediently. As Little Treasure started to write more and more, the crowd was surprised. Their surprise soon turned into shock, and in the end, they were terrified, not believing what they were seeing. Mo Ling Tian was especially bewildered. He opened his eyes wide and exclaimed, "Wow! Did Archimedes just possess Little Treasure?" Guan Xiao took a glance and tried to say something, but she did not dare to bother Little Treasure. Suddenly, everyone was focused on the little boy. There was pin-drop silence. Little Treasure was totally focused in his own world, unaffected by the intense stares on him, his little hands writing rows and rows of complicated formulae non-stop. Finally, Little Treasure was done. He then put down the answer 0 at the end and looked up at his mother with inquiring eyes. Ningxi gave the little bun a big smile and passed the exercise book to Guan Zhichen. "Little Master Guan, please check if you can understand this time." In the blank space of the exercise book, Little Treasure had clearly explained the steps to solve the equation because Auntie Shashi specifically mentioned to him to write it in detail. He even used arrows to point out a few formulas, and included some messages in brackets, as if he was teaching a kindergarten child. Soon, the exercise book was passed around the crowd. Little Treasure's solution was so detailed that even the underachievers could understand it and they praised him. "This is really amazing. Even I understand it. I thought I'm not comparable to a 13-year-old, but I was wrong, even a 5-year-old is better than I am. The way he solved it is really brilliant. It's not a conventional method, is it? Ms. Guan, what do you think? Is he correct? You updates tnvel/by.com. Guan Xiao looked through the exercise book, then looked at the little guy in Ningxi's arms in total shock. She spoke hesitantly, "It's completely correct, every step is perfect, there's no mistake at all." It was as if she just saw a shadow of Lu Tingxiao back in time. The way they solved questions was the same. But Little Treasure was only 5 years old. This was shocking. The crowd was surprised as they heard what Guan Xiao said. Impossible! This little guy actually solved it? Not only that, Guan Xiao even gave him such high approval. Unbelievable! Since they all witnessed Little Treasure write down all the steps on his own, they could not help but believe it. Compared to Guan Rui's obvious plan to show off his grandson, Little Treasure's unintentional show was much more impactful. Suddenly, everyone was talking to Lu Chongshan about him. "Elder Lu, you're really hiding some good stuff. No wonder you always don't let us see him. Your grandson is really a genius. The genes from the Lu family is outstanding. Brilliant. This is not just brilliant. He's already on another level. I was probably still playing with mud when I was 5. As the praises kept on flowing in, Lu Chongshan was unable to put his feelings into words. He felt like a burden had just been lifted from his chest. You all really misunderstood me. I really don't know about this talent of his. Probably the child learned on his own when he was flipping through the books. Qingyu is like his father, always having his own ideas, so he just explores things on his own. Lu Chongshan replied. You don't even need to do anything, he's already great on his own. So, it is true that geniuses act differently from others. As expected of the Lu family. If it wasn't for the maid just now, we would never have known how smart this kid is. Don't you know low-key showing off is the coolest? Someone mentioned that Guan Zhichen was even better than Lu Tingxiao, yet he can't even be compared to his 5-year-old son. The ladies were staring at the little bun with excitement. Oh my god, Lu Tingxiao's genes are so amazing. I'd like to have some, my ovaries are exploding. You're so dirty-minded. What? Don't tell me you didn't think about that, you updates tnvel/buy.com. So what if we got it? Can you ensure that your own genes don't mess up the baby's IQ? Speaking of which, I'm really curious about this child's mother, her genes must be exceptional as well. Lu Jingli saw everything as he stepped into the room as Ningxi just controlled the crowd quietly and brilliantly. Impressive! Bro, she's acting was really impressive. She just gave the Guan family a slap in the face. Now, he understood why she chose to wear the maid outfit and stay by Little Treasure. He also realized who the main character of the night was. Lu Tingxiao was looking calm, his expression practically radiating with "Look how great my wife is." Does Xiao Shishi not think about what could happen if Little Treasure didn't know how to solve it? Lu Jingli suddenly asked. Lu Tingxiao glanced at him, then replied expressionlessly, "Do you think my son would be that useless?" Lu Jingli was speechless. The lovey-dovey devil was now showing off his son. How could Lu Jingli live on anymore? Ningxi felt a little better after embarrassing Guan Zhichen. Get latest devil chapters on nvelbj/n.c/m. The so-called genius Guan Zhichen was not satisfied, so he gave Little Treasure another few more difficult questions, but in the end, Little Treasure was able to solve all of them. The people who were surrounding Guan Zhichen now gathered around Little Treasure, some even trying to touch him to get some smart aura from him, which made Ningxi speechless. Surprisingly, Little Treasure was patient today. He remained calm even when the crowd was being noisy around him, just looking really cute to everyone else. He only had eyes for his mother when she was holding his hand. It did not matter if the crowd got even rowdier. I didn't expect Little Treasure to be this good. People say that boys who are good at maths are charming, but he's awesome. I feel like pinching his cheeks. He looks so cute. Little Treasure suddenly gained himself a lot of fans, some trying to be his godmother, some even intending to set up a marriage with their children. Suddenly, Guan Zhichen was totally ignored. All the praises and envious gazes that were supposed to be his were now stolen away by this little kid. The boy's expression darkened. As everyone was surrounding the little bun, he suddenly spoke up, "I read from a book and it says that children with autism are usually gifted in certain aspects, now I realize that it's true." Guan Zhichen's voice was loud and almost everyone heard what he said. The atmosphere chilled down instantly, making everyone feel awkward. Ningxi squinted her eyes. Lu Chongshan felt like someone just slapped him in the face, his contented expression now frozen. Yet, this kid was Guan Rui's most precious grandson, so no matter how angry he was, there was nothing he could do. Guan Rui and Guan Xiao's expression changed instantly. Guan Xiao rushed over and pulled him over, scolding him in a harsh tone, "Zhichen, what are you talking about?" Guan Rui's expression was serious as well. Zhichen apologized to him. "Where did you hear about all this nonsense? It was not a thing to be proud of." Talking to Lu Chongshan and Yan Rui about it in private was done out of concern, but airing it like dirty laundry in public was an obvious act of destroying the relationship with the Lus. Moreover, it was Lu Chongshan's deepest scar. Guan Zhichen had never felt this embarrassed before, and had never been scolded by his grandfather and aunt in public, so he was frustrated. The book wrote it that way and this kid had autism, so what did he do wrong? Guan Zhichen continued talking loudly, "I'm not talking nonsense, he has autism. If not, why does he not talk? Why does he need a servant to speak up for him?" Guan Zhichen lost control of his emotions, creating more awkwardness. Everyone looked at each other and no one knew what to say. No one expected things to escalate this way. Guan Zichen had just revealed the skeleton in the Liu family's closet today. Guan Rui slapped Guan Zichen hard. "Shut up! I told you to apologize. Did you hear me? It doesn't matter if people gossip about it. How could you believe them that easily? How does Qingyu look like he's sick?" No matter how much he loved his grandson, he had to do something in order to keep the situation under control. Guan Rui had something else on his mind. Although what happened today might make Liu Chongshan unhappy, Liu Qingyu had become completely useless after today, one competitor to the position of successor easily removed. Too bad he had to treat Zichen this way. Guan Zichen was stunned, unable to believe what just happened. "Grandfather, you slapped me." Although Guan Rui was always strict with him in public, he was always kind and nice to him at home. It was the first time in his life that his grandfather had slapped him, all because of this stupid dumb kid. Since Guan Rui had taken such drastic measures, it would be inappropriate for Liu Chongshan to blame the child even further. Liu Chongshan gripped his walking staff tightly. "It's okay, Zichen is still young, let him off." Get latest VCHDers on nvelbj/n.c/m. But that was really hurtful. "Zichen, you should really apologize to Little Treasure." Yen Rui was heartbroken as she saw Ningxi holding Little Treasure tightly. She wished she had not let Little Treasure appear tonight. She had overestimated this woman and forgot that the unpredictable might happen. She would rather keep Little Treasure hidden at home and never see anyone, rather than to let him get hurt. After all, they could afford to provide Little Treasure for his whole life. Guan Xiao knew that even though Liu Chongshan and Yen Rui would overlook this matter on the surface, they would surely be unhappy, so she helped to persuade Guan Zichen. "Zichen, be good, go and apologize to Qingyu, it's your fault." "That's right, Qingyu is younger than you, and you should be the one protecting him." Mo Ling Tian lectured Guan Zichen. "Damn you, Guan Zichen. What kind of kid is that? I'm a kid as well. I'm going to beat him up." That old fart Guan Rui must be doing this on purpose. Lu Jingli could not hold it in anymore and was about to rush in when he was stopped by Lu Tingxiao. "Bro, what are you doing? Your son, my nephew, is being bullied." Lu Jingli was furious. Lu Tingxiao just looked at Little Treasure and Ningxi silently without any expression. Guan Zichen could not stand that everyone was helping the dumb kid, so he freed himself from Guan Xiao and yelled, "He's autistic, he's sick, he's dumb. If not, why is he not talking? If he can talk to me, only then will I apologize. If not, I will never apologize. I'm not wrong." Guan Zichen was forcing Little Treasure to talk, his yelling filled the silent banquet hall. Sometime later, Guan Rui achieved what he intended. As he was about to have someone to send Guan Zichen back home first, there was a young yet cold voice in the air, "You're not worthy." That voice sounded childish and slightly hoarse, yet it was so impactful and drove a chill into everyone's ears and hearts. He spoke. Everyone was stunned. Upstated T from N0/V/LBN/.co/M. Guan Xiao looked surprised. Guan Zichen, who was still yelling a moment ago, was silenced. He had really spoken. This dumb kid actually said that he was not worthy of him to speak. Guan Rui's confidence was shattered in an instant. How was that possible? He had spent a lot of time investigating the child even before he came back to the country, and he was sure that the kidnap had left a severe psychological scar on the child, leaving him mute in the past 2 years. He even had such a low self-esteem and ran away by just listening to Guan Xiao and Yen Rui's conversation, yet now, not only did he not lose control, he even spoke. The tables had turned. So cool. Someone from the crowd commented. The comment worked like a switch and it sparked exciting discussions. Oh my God! He is just 5 years old. He looks so soft and cute, but that moment was just so cool. I want to marry him. I wish I had been born 10 or 20 years later. Lu Tingxiao is too hard to deal with. I hope Little Treasure doesn't mind a girl older than him. Little Treasure's fluffy face had the same expression as his father. He did not even look at Guan Xichan and just walked away from the crowd calmly while holding Ningxi's hand. The small silhouette left a large impact. Oh, Little Treasure is so neat. Lu Jingli hugged his own brother. Lu Tingxiao looked through the crowd and his eyes met Ningxi's. He pushed Lu Jingli away as his cold expression softened like the snow melting in spring. Is it just me or did that feel satisfying? Guan Xichan was overdoing it just now. Even if Little Treasure is really autistic, he really shouldn't be doing that. He's forcing him to talk. How could he talk if he's autistic? Does he feel very happy to prove that Little Treasure is sick? That's right, so what if he's a genius? How can a top student really be so rude? It was just only one question that he couldn't solve and he got that angry. Who does he think he is? The world doesn't revolve around him. Not only is he jealous, he's very unkind as well. What was he thinking when talking to a 5-year-old kid? The little master was right, he's not worthy. Thank goodness it was just rumors. The little master is well and extremely talented. His IQ and EQ is way superior than Guan Xichan's. Some people were unhappy with Guan Xichan's behavior, especially when they saw a cute child like Little Treasure being bullied. Their motherly instincts surfaced and they harshly criticized Guan Xichan's personality. Guan Rui's plan was to destroy Little Treasure tonight, but he did not expect that his plan would not only fail and do 0 damage to Little Treasure. Guan Xichan was now despised by everyone. Guan Rui acted troubled and looked at Lu Chongshan, enunciating slowly, "Elder Lu, I'm really sorry for what happened. Xichan is still young and his personality is too straightforward. He wouldn't easily change his mind, although I've told him about it many times. He still won't change that attitude. His teacher mentioned that this trait of him is beneficial in academics, but it surely causes a big problem in his interpersonal relationships." Guan Rui rephrased Guan Xichan's arrogance and mean attitude to persistence and straightforwardness. Lu Chongshan was still reeling from Little Treasure talking, but he understood that his surprise should be concealed carefully. If not, he would be indicating that he acknowledged Little Treasure was autistic, so he stayed calm on the surface. It's not a big deal, bro Guan, Qingyu has to be responsible as well. His personality is exactly the same as his father's. They just don't like to talk, we rarely listen him talk at home as well. It's unavoidable that Xichan would misunderstand. Lu Chongshan used this chance to clarify the public suspicions and avoid any future misunderstandings based on Little Treasure's silence. As for Little Treasure's remark of Guan Xichan's unworthiness, Lu Chongshan ignored it and did not intend to apologize. Great job! As expected of Lu Chongshan's grandson. Since it's a misunderstanding, it's good that it's cleared up now. That's right. Many people just love to spread rumors, kids are too young to separate the truth from lies. It's not entirely his fault. All test NOVL on novelben/.cm. Some guests helped to clear up the awkward atmosphere as Guan Xichan apologized under Guan Rui's harsh gaze. Lu Chongshan's anger disappeared because Little Treasure talked, so he generously let this matter off as he was feeling overjoyed that night. At the same time, Guan Xiao was holding onto Yan Rui's arms and she apologized, "Auntie, I'm really sorry for tonight, we've been pretty strict with Xichan, but just like Little Treasure, he's been treated like the treasure of our family. It was his first time being slapped and he got too upset." That's why he said those harsh words. They aren't intentional, auntie, don't take them personally. As Guan Xiao talked, she beckoned Guan Zhichen over. Guan Zhichen looked down and hid the fire in his eyes. I'm sorry, Grandmother Lu, it's my fault, it wasn't intentional. Yen Rui looked at the red mark on his face and she sighed, it's okay now, don't blame yourself anymore, everything is cleared up now. Xiao, quickly get him some ice. Your father used too much force. Guan Xiao was relieved as Yen Rui's tone softened. She brought Guan Zhichen away. The Lu family would not hold them responsible on the surface for this matter, but it would surely leave a scar inside them. She had to make her father behave himself in the time being. From the beginning, she had disagreed with her father's decision to bring Zhichen over. With Little Treasure's fragile condition, bringing Zhichen along felt like bragging. However, her father mentioned that it had been too long since they appeared before them and that they needed a stage to show the Lu family the good genes of the Guan family, so she had agreed as she felt it was beneficial for her. She thought Little Treasure would not show up tonight and that even if he did, he would probably just appear for a little while. Who would have known that things would escalate to this stage? What went wrong? That woman's face appeared in Guan Xiao's mind. Acting as a servant who brought Little Treasure over to solve the question, she was not stupid at all, she had it planned all along. She actually devised a plan to embarrass them. She and her father had underestimated her greatly. Guan Rui realized that as well and they looked at each other and tensed up, keeping their guard up. Who knew what else would that woman do tonight? Could Little Treasure's quick recovery be all because of that woman? Guan Xiao mumbled while frowning. Guan Rui's expression darkened. That woman went to an unknown university in America at first, then somehow she got into the University of South California. But she majored in performing arts. How could she cure the child when Qin Mufeng, a professional psychiatrist, had no clue how to help? From that kid's aura to the way he talks, he doesn't seem to have any problems. Although he did not want to admit it, this kid was much better than Zhichen. One day, he would surely surpass his father, Lu Tingxiao. Such an amazing grandchild. No wonder Lu Chongshan and Yen Rui were so protective towards him. The worst part was that the Guan family had always had the upper hand because the Lu family felt guilty towards them as Lu Tingxiao now had a child and even a girlfriend. However, after today, the tables had turned and he had to behave himself for some time to carefully get back on the good side of the Lu family. As for that child, he would need a strategy. The banquet was ending and the guests presented their gifts to Lu Chongshan. Guan Rui let out a sigh of relief. Fortunately, his gift today was going to be impactful. Bro Lu, I know that you love calligraphy. I accidentally found this work by Wang Zi when I was overseas and I immediately thought of you when I saw it. It took me quite some effort to get it back here, you'll surely like it. Guan Rui told Lu Chongshan. Follow US stories at nvl/by/n.com. Lu Chongshan was a calligrapher himself. He was very well versed in the area of calligraphy and drawings, even reaching the level of a fanatic collector, so this gift hit his soft spot. Lu Chongshan took it carefully and looked through it again and again. He was extremely surprised. Bro Guan, your gift is too much for me. This was a priceless work of art and most of them had gone overseas. Not only did you need money and power to acquire them, one also needed luck as it was not easy to come across something this precious. Guan Rui smiled at him. You're welcome, our close relationship is worth more than this, and it's not that expensive anyway, I was just lucky. Looking at the priceless calligraphy piece, the crowd was impressed although it was expected of Guan Rui. Are you kidding me? Not expensive? I remember this was auctioned in Zurich for $500 million. Seems like the Guan family has been doing really well overseas in the recent years. Don't you see how close were Guan Xiao and Yan Rui just now? They might even be merging. Really? I thought Lu Chongshan intends to have a marriage relationship with the Zhuang family. The Zhuangs are usually more geared towards families with a political and military background, and no matter how strong the Lu family's assets are, they are still businessmen. I don't think it's possible. Seeing that Guan Rui had given him such a priceless gift, Lu Chongshan's expression softened as he realized he was still seen as an important friend to the Guans. Of course, nonetheless, the gift he was looking forward to the most was Little Treasure's gift. Little Treasure, didn't you say you have a gift for me? What is it? Lu Chongshan asked nervously. Little Treasure looked up at his parents. Lu Tingxiao signaled to the servants, then they arranged some papers and calligraphy tools. Everyone gathered around. It seemed like the little master was going to write some calligraphy of his own. While it was definitely a filial act, it seemed a little normal, especially after the priceless gift from Guan Rui. Ningxi quietly prepared the ink for Little Treasure while Lu Tingxiao and Lu Jingli each spread a long sheet of paper and stood in front of Little Treasure. The crowd realized that the maid had prepared 2 calligraphy brushes. Was one a spare? Little Treasure used his small hands to pick up the brushes, one in each hand. He looked at the papers in front of him and calmed himself down, then put both the brushes on both of the papers at the same time. What was he doing? Everyone was curious. Little Treasure was actually writing with both hands at the same time. He finished the calligraphy in one go. On the left, he wrote blessings from the eastern sea, and on the right, he wrote longevity as the southern mountain. After they realized what Little Treasure had done, they were all astounded. New N0VL chapters are published on N0V/E/LBIN. Co/M. He can write 2 different things at the same time. And that was amazing. Such powerful ambidextrous talent from a 5-year-old. Don't you guys remember that Lu Chongshan himself is a calligraphy artist? His grandson wouldn't be too shabby. Oh my god, I'm shocked. This child has gathered all the essence of the Lu family. Little Treasure's calligraphy had been taught by Lu Chongshan, but although he knew Little Treasure was pretty good at it, he was unaware of his ability to write 2 different scrolls at the same time. What was more shocking was that Little Treasure's wrist was not strong enough to write properly. His calligraphy might look nice, but it had been lacking in many aspects earlier. In just a few days, Little Treasure's calligraphy had become so powerful that it was really shocking to him. His impression of Ningxi changed. He was worried that staying with the woman might have a negative impact on Little Treasure, but not only he was able to talk, his body coordination seemed to have improved by leaps and bounds. He was sure that Little Treasure had gone through some sort of training. If not, it was impossible for him to write this well. Lu Chongshan was slightly worried when he realized Little Treasure was about to present him with calligraphy art. Due to his achievements in the world of calligraphy, everyone's expectations would be really high, and in addition to the talented impression Little Treasure gave just a while ago, people might judge him harshly. However, the results were surprising and he was really glad. This surprise clearly made him much happier than Guan Rui's priceless gift. As the guests were praising the little bun, there was a loud and strong voice. The crowd looked at the source of the voice. It was a middle-aged man in his military uniform who walked in from the entrance. The man looked boldly at the host. He was the general from the Zhuang family, Zhuang Liaoyuan. Chief Zhuang, welcome. Thank you for coming. Lu Chongshan went up and greeted him with a smile. You're welcome, Elder Lu. I should apologize for being late. Zhuang Liaoyuan replied. Top VL updates on n/o/v/lb/in.com. Official tasks are, of course, more important. Please come in. Zhuang Liaoyuan walked towards the calligraphy Little Treasure had just created and hid none of his impressed expression. This calligraphy, did your grandson write them? Yes. It's his birthday present to me. Lu Chongshan was feeling proud. Zhuang Liaoyuan glanced at the little guy. Impressive. He can write with this strength at such a young age. Elder Lu, this kid has inherited the talent from you. As Zhuang Liaoyuan was chatting to Lu Chongshan, he noticed Ningxi, who was beside Little Treasure. Ningxi recognized Zhuang Liaoyuan as well, but it was not appropriate to talk to him at that time, so she looked down and pretended to not know him. Zhuang Liaoyuan realized that she was in a maid's uniform and noticed her submission, so he quickly concealed his surprise, but then his eyes turned icy when he looked at Lu Tingxiao. The atmosphere got warmer as Zhuang Liaoyuan arrived. As expected of a man from another prestigious family, many people wanted to rub shoulders with him. Most importantly, families like his rarely interacted with rich businessmen, and Lu Chongshan's birthday was one of the few occasions that he would show up at, so it was a rare occasion indeed. Guan Rui was tense. He knew that the Zhuangs intended to establish a marriage relationship with the Lus, so he had to see what his biggest competitor was thinking. As the evening got later, the dinner ended and the guests were adjourning. Lu Tingxiao and Little Treasure sent the guests out while Ningxi went to the garden for a small break. As she sat on the swing, reminiscing Little Treasure's cool moments of the night, she noticed someone was closing in, and judging from the sound of their footsteps, she could determine that it was someone with a martial arts background. Ningxi stood up and looked behind her alertly. Her alertness became awkwardness. It was Zhuang Liaoyuan. Why did he come here? Was he here just to find her? So, that guy is treating you this way? As Ningxi was contemplating, Zhuang Liaoyuan suddenly spoke to her. Zhuang Liaoyuan's expression looked unhappy, even a little cold when he spoke. Ningxi was confused. Chief Zhuang, who are you talking about? Was he talking to himself? Zhuang Liaoyuan was looking at her maid's outfit and was angry. Lu Tingxiao! You're his girlfriend, yet you had to wear this on his father's birthday? Ningxi finally realized what Zhuang Liaoyuan meant, so she quickly explained, well, no. It's not like that, Chief Zhuang, you've misunderstood. There's some reasoning behind it, but it's not him that made me wear like this. Is he not planning to announce your relationship with him? Zhuang Liaoyuan's expression was serious. Ningxi frowned a little. Was this question not too personal? However, looking at Zhuang Liaoyuan's persistent face, she could sense his good intentions, so Ningxi hesitated but still replied him in the end, we're not announcing our relationship mainly due to my career. You should know being an actress isn't easy. Zhuang Liaoyuan's expression softened, then he continued, I watched your movie, you acted really well. Ningxi's eyes widened. What, you watched my movie? The World? Zhuang Liaoyuan nodded. Yes, you played the character of the female general really well. Ningxi was really excited. She blushed a little and replied gratefully, thank you. Thank you for your praise. She thought Zhuang Liaoyuan would look down on her after he knew about her career, but not only did he not, he even praised her acting. His expression was genuine, he really thought she did very well. You didn't use any stunt doubles in the movie, did you? Zhuang Liaoyuan asked. Ningxi nodded and replied embarrassingly, no, I didn't. That's a surprise. Do you have a background in martial arts? Zhuang Liaoyuan was interested. The atmosphere softened as the topic shifted to acting. Ningxi became more relaxed now. Not exactly, I just learned a little. I was a stunt double before I officially become an actress. I always played similar characters when I was acting as stunt double overseas. They are really impressed by Kung Fu from China, and most of the time, they needed Eastern characters with good skills. That's impressive, working on your own overseas at such a young age, Zhuang Liaoyuan commented. With her capabilities, there were so much more she could do to support herself, yet she chose the most difficult path. Ningxi had forgotten when was the last time someone had been so concerned about her, and she was touched. She smiled at him. Well, acting is my dream. I'm just doing what I love, it's not really difficult. Zhuang Liaoyuan nodded. Sounds about right. This child was really good, and she had a great attitude as well. Follow the latest novels n/velbin.com. Zhuang Liaoyuan looked impressed, then he spoke in a serious tone, "Little girl, you're a smart person. You should know that the Liu family doesn't really suit you. I won't say anything further about it, but just remember, if one day you change your mind, do come and look for me. I have a lot of outstanding single men, each one of them talented on his own. There'll surely be one that you like." Ningxi was speechless. Zhuang Liaoyuan was practically telling her, time to give up on Liu Tingxiao. I have a lot of good men for you. Did she misunderstand him? What did Zhuang Liaoyuan mean by that? As Ningxi was contemplating how to reply, Zhuang Liaoyuan, a firm grip suddenly held her waist, then she heard a cold voice, "General Zhuang, it's not very gentlemanlike to interfere with someone's relationship, don't you think?" Ningxi had no words to say. The devil is here. He even heard what Zhuang Liaoyuan just said. Ningxi gulped and suddenly felt chills down her neck, feeling colder and colder. She tried to get away from the source of the coldness, but she was being held back even tighter around her waist, causing her to almost be unable to breathe. She decided to stay obedient and not move anymore. Zhuang Liaoyuan looked at the brooding man calmly. I'm just saying that in case she changes her mind. Ningxi did not even need to look to know how scary the devil's expression would be right now, so she quickly interrupted. Thank you for your good intentions, Chief Zhuang, but we're in a happy relationship right now and I would never change my mind. Liu Tingxiao's grip softened a little as she said that. Zhuang Liaoyuan sighed and looked at her. Without saying anything, he left her with a sentence, if there's anything you need help with, do contact me. Drop by the shooting range for some fun when you're available. Oh, okay, thank you, Chief Zhuang. Ningxi let out a sigh of relief after Zhuang Liaoyuan left. As she turned around to talk to Liu Tingxiao, her lips were blocked unexpectedly, the man's refreshing scent wafting through the air to reach her. Ningxi felt the air inside her getting thinner, and the worst part was that this guy was not kissing. He was totally biting her. She felt a sharp pain on her lips and her tongue went numb. His kiss became gentler once Ningxi moaned in pain, and he gently caressed the spots he tortured just now, but when she tried to struggle, he became wild again. She noticed that someone was coming. Ningxi anxiously pushed his chest away, blocking his next kiss. She spoke in a serious tone, "No. What if people saw us?" It was not a private dinner tonight and there were a lot of people around. A few maids had actually recognized her and asked if she was the actress Ningxi. In the dark, the man stared at the girl in the maid outfit, his eyes emitting beast-like rays. So what if they see us? If they did, I'll bite you to death. Ningxi glared at him. She would not give way to her principles. Full 0W current novels on n/o/v/3l/b in.co/m. The man's dangerous gaze turned to hurt. He hugged her tightly and laid his head on her shoulder. When can I tell everyone that you're mine? Well, that. Ningxi softened her tone as she patted his back. That day will surely come. Don't be impatient. Ningxi, I've said before that the only thing you need to consider is if you really love me, and it still applies right now. As long as you agree, no one and nothing can stop you from becoming my wife. Lu Tingxiao was promising her that no family influence or interference from any other sources would affect his decision. I know, don't listen to Zhuang Liaoyuan. He just doesn't know what's going on, and he probably said that because he thought you did not want to announce our relationship to the public. Speaking of which, I wonder what he meant earlier? Ning Shi was curious. He probably investigated your identity after what happened at the shooting range the other day, Lu Tingxiao replied. Ning Shi frowned a little. You mean, he knows that I'm the adopted daughter of the Ning family, or that he knows I'm actually his niece? So, he's just asking out of concern? But the Zhuangs don't even acknowledge Zhuang Lingyu now. Could they really be concerned about someone who's not even acknowledged by Zhuang Lingyu? This did not make sense at all. Don't you realize that Zhuang Liaoyuan likes you a lot? Lu Tingxiao said with an unhappy expression. When his own treasure was being eyed by someone else, it irritated him. Top VL updates on n/o/v/lb/in.com. Really? Ning Shi was surprised. She felt that Zhuang Liaoyuan was just being gentle and kind towards her. It's all because of your talent in shooting. He had no hope left for his useless son anymore, so he put his hopes on you, and he probably hasn't given up on recruiting you into his team, so you had better stay away from him, Lu Tingxiao warned. Oh. Ning Shi nodded. I've already said that I will not join that team. Moreover, I'd lose my freedom staying there. If I'm forbidden from seeing you for a few weeks, I might really miss you until I exhaust myself. Lu Tingxiao's stern face softened. He hugged her and kissed her cheek, then he looked at her. Ning Shi, remember what you say today. That day will never come. I'll not let you have the chance to change your mind. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I interrupting? Lu Jingli covered his eyes with his hands. What's the matter? Lu Tingxiao asked. Yes. Seems like someone's here for trouble. Go out and take a look. A while later, Lu Jingli, Lu Tingxiao, and Ning Shi stood in their front yard. There was a big bouquet of black flowers, dew on the petals refracting through the dim light, bringing a sense of uneasiness. This is... Looking at the bouquet of flowers, Ning Shi frowned. If I'm not mistaken, this is a blackthorn apple? Lu Jingli affirmed, yes, giving this black and unfortunate flower on someone's birthday, someone's clearly looking for trouble. Ning Shi glanced at Lu Tingxiao and felt uneasy. She remembered the meaning of the blackthorn apple, revenge. Was she overthinking? Well, truckers, that's all for this part. See you all in the next video.